Hello, hello, hello. I'm here. I was talking, but never mind. You still at work, lab? Oh, 9:30. Oh, I remember those days. I was a manager at Victoria's Secret for 2 years. Well, I've had quite a few retail jobs. Um, that was just the latest one. Retail for me is too much like customer service, and I've come to realize in my 38 years of life that just may not be the position for me. Customer service takes quite a bit of patience that you think you have. You think you have it until you get that one customer that's like, girl, I will lose this job and go outside and whoop your ass. Anyway, today we are talking about the diddler, Diddy, Sean Combs. Um, finally has been arrested. Can y'all hear me okay? He finally has been arrested. Um, definitely I go yes, Danny, like it's I'm not gonna I'm always gonna put like, never gonna say I'm not gonna work somewhere because you gotta do what you gotta do when you gotta do it. But that's just like at this point a last ditch option because man, I tell you what, and like I said, I was at Victoria's Secret, so it's like we had, what I'm saying, it was girls coming in there like trying to try on underwear. Why you don't know what size underwear you wear? No ma'am, no ma'am, you cannot do this. Like when we as employees, we used to get our whatever we wanted, we used to get it straight out the box before it hit the floor because once it hit the floor, ain't no telling. But but yeah. Anyway, we are here to talk about the diddler, and he has finally been arrested. And I say finally because I have never doubted that he did the stuff they said he did. Like it has never been a doubt to me. Number one, he's always been shady. Always. You work in a huge grocery store. You know what? Food Line was my second job, and to this day, like one of my favorite jobs. Like I have worked, like I said, I've been in corporate world for a while. Like I have worked a lot of jobs, and food that job was one of my favorites. The grocery store was a little different. Like it was a little different. It wasn't as much interaction. Anyway, so yeah, I have never doubted that Diddy did the things they said he did. Like he's always been shady, and then y'all know a lot of these music executives or whatever are shady. Like from since the beginning of time. I mean, they've always been shady. Um, and to have that much success that he's had to reach billionaire status, you don't get that far without stepping on a few toes. You don't get that far without pissing somebody off. You don't get that far without doing some stuff you ain't supposed to be doing. I mean, and that just it is what it is. Very, very rare do you have the billionaire that has a moral standing that does things the right way. Very rare. But um when Cassie came out with her lawsuit, I believed every single word of it. I believed every single word of it because it was way too detailed. And unfortunately, I have been a victim of domestic violence before. So I didn't have to see a video. Like, I didn't have to see that video to know that sis was telling the truth. Um, I remember a while ago, one of his baby mamas, Misa Hilton, came out and said that he wouldn't pay her child support or wasn't paying her child support, and she was homeless and all this. And I remember people were clowning her like, "Oh, get a job. Um, that's it's not his whatever responsibility to take care of you, blah 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 blah." You know how people do or whatever. And I didn't really look too much into that story when it happened. But since then there has been, I don't know if it was an interview or just like a documentary with her, and she kind of detailed what was going on, like why she said that or whatever. And maybe I'll play that right quick just for like, context. But um we all of us who were of age when Tupac passed, that whole East Coast West Coast thing, I mean, it's always kind of been like innuendo that he was behind it. Like, I mean, it was just one of those things that could never be proven. um but we all felt that. I watched a documentary on the whole East Coast West Coast beef, and that's when, and I didn't know, I don't know if this was like known news when it came out. I just didn't learn it until I watched the documentary. But I didn't know that. So Biggie had a song called "Who Shot You." Biggie released that song immediately after Tupac got shot. So Tupac was in New York, Biggie was in New York. I think Biggie and them was in the studio. Tupac called and said, "Hey, I'm around the way," and they was like, "All right, cool, come through." And when Tupac came through, he was ambushed and shot in the lobby. As he was waiting on one of Biggie's people to come and let him up, he was ambushed and shot in the lobby of this building. And so um naturally you're gonna think, somebody set me up. Like, and I don't think that he was too much leaning on that until the song "Who Shot You" was released. And like I said, it was released right after Tupac got shot. And come to find out from the documentary, Biggie didn't want that song released. Diddy released that song. So right after Tupac got ambushed and shot in New York, it was Diddy's decision as the record executive to release that song. And that just fueled the fire, because if Tupac didn't think that Biggie and them was behind it before, he definitely thought it after that song was released. Um, and I thought that was like a great example of shadiness. Like the links that he'll go to for the clout. Back then we didn't call it clout, but that's what it was. He fueled that fire. Um, just real shady stuff. Um, I don't know if y'all ever heard any rumors about him, but they, like I said, they have been there from the beginning. I'm trying to find the exact interview because it was a while ago. But anyway, past all that, we're here to talk about the indictment. And we are gonna look at what happened today. And anybody who wants to come up and talk, well, ain't nobody here but you and laugh. But if y'all want to come up and talk, just let me know. But the big thing that happened today, the only thing bad about this case is that it's federal. And with it being federal, that means it's not going to be televised. That's the only bad thing about it. Otherwise, he deserves everything that is coming to him, just because you don't do women like that. He's recorded on recording saying that, you know what I'm saying, he'll get rid of his own mama to get what he want. Like, he's one of them tight folk or whatever. But the big news is he was denied. Not only was he picked up, we know he was picked up, but he was denied bond. And he kind of knew he was getting picked up. Allegedly, he knew he was getting picked up. Allegedly, he came to New York this week because his lawyers knew that their arrest was imminent. And according to reports, they had planned to pick him up, I think, tomorrow. And the Fed said something came up and they picked him up yesterday, whenever they got him. But his lawyers, his very high priced lawyers, and with Diddy in the mind frame of money talks, they thought that, yeah, okay, he's going to get arrested, but we are going to seek bail. And we'll make a plea for bail. You know, he's Diddy. How can they not give him bail? And I think they even offered for it to be 50 million. They offered to surrender his passports and his children's passports. But interestingly enough, it wasn't the boys, Justin and Christian's passports. Now I don't know if theirs had already been seized because Justin's in his own little bit of trouble. But the twins, the little 2-year-old girl, the other daughter that he got, all of their and his mama, all of their passports that his lawyer and them offered the courts. He like, here, we're not a flight risk. You can have our passports. Well, we'll pay 50 million. We'll be on, I guess an ankle monitor or whatever. And they very well thought that they could come in there with that, and that the judge would be like, okay, he's Diddy. Where can he go that he's not going to be recognized? Yeah, let's just go ahead and give him a bond. And the judge was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Held without bail. And when you are held without bail, you are held until your trial. The only other hope he has is if they have, I guess, like I know every so often or every couple of months, lawyers can request a bond hearing. I don't even know if you can do that in federal court. I don't really know how federal court works when it comes to that. But this they found a lot of stuff. If you guys don't remember, they raided his house in March, and we were all wondering, like, what did they find in that raid? One of the big things that they found, and I believe they showed pictures of it, but one of the big things that they found were guns. They found 3 AK-47s. They found a assault rifle drum, and some other stuff. But that's not the problem. The problem is these AK-47s serial numbers were defaced. They were scratched off. Diddy's going down just for that. Take away the RICO, take away the sex trafficking, take away the drugs, take away all of that. The fact that he has 3 AK-47s with serial numbers scratched off, he's going to jail for that. And no, I don't think he's a felon, so I don't think it'd be like a felon with a weapon possession type thing. But you cannot do that. You are not allowed to be in possession of a weapon that does not have a serial number on it. That in itself is illegal and against the law. So if you were to take away all of this other stuff that he's accused of, just because they found those guns in his house, he's going down just for that alone. But let's take a look at the press conference. You gotta be a stupid motherfucker, right? Like, you know what? I don't think it's stupid. It's just arrogant. It's arrogant. I'm a billionaire. I got a lot of money. Ain't nothing gonna happen to me. That is arrogance. Like, and they always say the faster you go up, the harder you fall. And his fall is happening, and it's happening big time. But after watching the video of what he did to Cassie, you can't watch that video and still have an excuse for him. What would be the excuse? Drugs? Well, he shouldn't be doing the drugs. So You cannot watch that video, regardless of the sex trafficking. We don't know. We ain't seen the prostitute. We can't even talk about that right now, regardless of the prostitutes and all that stuff. We saw the video where he whooped Cassie's ass. And how can you watch that video and still be like, oh, well, maybe it was someone that looked like him? Get out of here. But here is the press conference they did earlier today. They did this today while we were all watching the trial and the funeral and stuff.
Good to go? We're going to start pretty soon. Sean Combs press conference in about 2 minutes. If you have any questions about presentment, I'll come back out and we'll go over timing and give you a few updates.
In the days
activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers. The indictment also alleges that they helped Combs cover up his crimes. During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier, a member of the hotel security staff intervened, and Combs attempted to bribe the staff member with a stack of cash to make sure that what happened was kept quiet. And as the indictment alleges, in late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs's crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced. And as alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse by monitoring and preventing victims from leaving a location in order to hide their injuries, or by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee. As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs's residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs's electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether. Here are some of the items that we recovered during the searches. As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well, we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced. Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there. Now, I want to be clear about 2 things. First, this office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly. Anyone with information can call 1-877-4HSI-TIP. I want to express my deep appreciation for the victims and witnesses who have used their voices and helped bring this criminal conduct to light. We would not be here without them. I also want to thank the dedicated case agents on the HSI Trafficking in Person Squad in New York. They have been with us since day one and have worked tirelessly on this investigation. They will continue to be invaluable partners to us. I also want to thank the incredible agents and analysts from SCNY who have also provided tremendous assistance on this case. I'm deeply grateful for their continued work. And finally, I want to thank the outstanding career prosecutors from SCNY who are handling this case. Meredith Foster, Emily Johnson, Chrissy Slavic, Madison Smeisler, and Mitzi Steiner, and their supervisors, Jamie Backleeper and Jacqueline Kelly. They are members of the Civil Rights Unit in our criminal division. We created the Civil Rights Unit when I became U.S. Attorney. I'm deeply proud of their work on this and so many other cases. I'll now take some questions.
Aaron Katursky, ABC.
Thanks, Nick. Damian, thanks. The indictment describes aggressive, open, violent, hedonistic abuse that you say was recurrent and widely known. Why did it take law enforcement so long to intervene? How many women were victimized by Sean Combs, and how many others were involved?
Look, our investigation is ongoing. We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long. I think the better focus is on the fact that we are here today. And we are committed to making sure that justice is done. Next question.
Thank you. Julia Ainsley, NBC.
Thank you for doing this. You said we are not done and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
Janet Fisher, Newsday.
What's the difference between the sex trafficking and promoting travel for the purpose of prostitution?
Well, there are different crimes with different elements. I don't think we should get into the nitty-gritty of the legal discussion right now, but the sex trafficking, we believe, they're all serious offenses, but the sex trafficking conduct carries some significant penalties, and we are gratified that we were able to bring that charge.
Is one more coercive than the other?
I'm not going to be able to get into that, but you can look it up, and yes, sex trafficking, especially when it involves coercion or force, is a very serious crime, and it carries significant penalties.
Good afternoon, Darla Miles, ABC 7 New York. Thank you for this press conference and for the details. 2 questions. In context of this indictment and the information that was presented to the grand jury, are you able to clarify the number of victims? It's mentioned plural in the indictment, but can you specify the number of victims just for this particular indictment? And secondly, can you provide details about the alleged arson?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to provide either. The number of victims, you are correct. We are intentional in saying multiple. The details of the arson incident are limited to what we have in the indictment and also the detention letter that we filed, which contains more details than the indictment does at various points. But we don't have anything more beyond that. Next question.
Lynn Tran, CNN.
Are any of his accomplices or associates under investigation? And additionally, could he face any more charges?
So the investigation is ongoing. That means both as to him and to anyone else who we believe committed the crime with him. Next question.
Juliet Papa.
Hi, good morning from 1010 Wins. Any indication that some of the women or victims here were imprisoned in his residence?
So I wanted to play the part where they said, basically that they're not taking off the table for other people to be a charge, because I think that they are gonna go after his kids. Well, especially Justin for sure, because Justin already has his own sexual assault case that came out just a couple of months ago, where a woman on a yacht claimed that she was sexually assaulted by Justin. And there also have been other reports where he's just as much of a creep as Diddy is. So I think they are going to, at least one of those boys, I don't think that Quincy is going to be one of them. Quincy actually seems like the normal child out of all of them. I mean, out of the boys. But I think they're definitely coming for any of those, like he said, the ones that were getting the hotel rooms ready, those the really his staffers, it was probably his private assistants, his personal assistants and stuff like that. They are all about to catch the windfall of what's going on. And guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna talk. They're gonna talk because they didn't sign up for this. They wanted to be P. Diddy's personal assistant or P. Diddy's, whatever. They wanted the dream job. They didn't sign up for no RICO. In a RICO, they gonna, just like how they trying to do Thug and them. Whatever he gets convicted of, y'all all getting convicted of. So, they are definitely about to start talking. Matter of fact, when his place got raided in March and he was arrested at the airport, they arrested this white guy with him, and the white guy was accused of being Diddy's drug mule. And the crazy thing is, when that guy, Lil Rod, came out with his lawsuit, he had said that there was a, he basically described a dude, and lo and behold, the dude got arrested with him. And he took a plea deal and started talking. He started talking and he started telling things. And that's what the rest of them are going to do. Because like I said, they didn't sign up for this. The ones that happen to be millionaires that he got on tape, because that's the thing. Diddy has this stuff on tape. He would have these freak offs with these other entertainers and stars, but he would be recording them with them not knowing it, and so he can have it to hold on their head. There are a lot of people in Hollywood that are scared right now. They scared because they don't want the domino to fall. I'm sorry about y'all's comments. It's a lot of people in Hollywood that are scared right now. When it comes to the arson, so the arson came from, in Cassie's lawsuit, she alleged that when, I guess, because her and Diddy were on and off, she alleged that when they were off, what's his name? Kid Cudi, I believe, showed some interest in Cassie, and they were texting and talking, and doing all that kind of stuff. So once Diddy found out that Kid Cudi was texting Cassie, he allegedly blew his car up. Allegedly. That's as a matter of fact, I can show y'all I could read the article, but I really don't want to. I can read out loud. I'm not one of those. Y'all don't want to hear me talk. Let's see. Let's watch this one.
It's crazy. And our thing was, I got. So, all right, let's talk about the Sean Diddy. Sean Diddy Puff Daddy Bad Boy records and this Cassidy situation. It ain't looking too good for Diddy. So what is the eye-opener thing was I got, because I wasn't really going to talk about it, was Diddy was trying to kill my boy Kid Cudi. Hold up now. Why are you trying to get Kid Cudi? No wonder they've never done something together. It's crazy. And I always thought about it. I said, Kid Cudi's never worked with, I think Cudi was on an album with Jay-Z, but not like a feature album, but like there's no collaboration with them on that either, nor Beyonce, and stuff like that, but never with Diddy. Kanye West never worked with Diddy either, so that says a lot too. Anyway, and Kanye West is, some people say he's crazy. I think he just, I want to say he's crazy. He's not following the trend no more. Let's say that. Hollywood, or Hollyweird, they call it. But back to this, he tried to kill Kid Cudi. He was trying to date Cassidy. Hold up, wait a minute. Pump the brakes. I'm like, bruh, not Cudi. Blew up his car. Like some damn Grand Theft Auto, James Bond, Mission Impossible type of fucking Vince McMahon blow up car scenario. I'm like, yo, really? That's crazy. But the case is not looking good. Even if Diddy does have enough money to pay this off, which they're gonna settle. How much is the question? Because but then again, it's like, well, Cassidy, why is she waiting so late to do it? That's true, but I think she wants more money. They're about to settle. Whatever she gets, and her husband, oh, he gonna be rich. Gonna be rich. And it's weird though. Even one person said it, 'cause I was watching somebody else's video. I'm surprised he didn't have her sign NDAs. Literally sign some NDAs. For 10 years, she would have signed NDA every 3 to 4 years. Well,
So yeah, he tried to cut a car. This guy though, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Here's the thing about NDAs. Because you have to know a man of Diddy's stature and influence and money. Everybody is signing NDAs. Everybody out the gate. That's a part of your now hiring package. But the thing about NDAs do not protect against criminal behavior. That's the caveat when it comes to NDAs. And so some people hear NDA and be like, oh, that means they can't talk about anything. That does not cover crimes. So if a person is accused of committing a crime, that NDA don't matter. Because the NDA not going to keep them out of jail. Or that, like in this case, the NDAs that he had all these employees sign, and these people sign these freak offs, is not going to keep them from telling on him because they're not going to want to go to jail. So, and laugh to your question, I do remember when Quincy's dad told him to come home. And what is crazy about that, you know, Quincy's dad is Albie Shore. Albie Shore, Kim Porter were together, of course, before Kim Porter got with Diddy. But when Kim Porter got with Diddy, you know, he kind of like raised them up as his own son. That's kind of goes into what I was talking about, I think last week when I said that everybody around Diddy dies or something happens to them when they when they're trying to say something bad about him. But maybe y'all don't remember, but maybe like 2-3 years ago, Albie Shore got really, really, really sick. This was after Kim Porter died. Albie Shore was like in a coma near death. But Albie Shore was also very vocal in speaking out about Diddy having something to do with Kim Porter's death. And then all of a sudden, he is damn near dead. Nobody has ever, it was never really said like what was wrong with him. He was kind of like unsure about it. People around Diddy that are going to speak negatively about him, something ends up happening to them. And that's just crazy. Like, he got sick out of nowhere, but it was only after he began speaking out on Diddy and how Diddy was raising his son and having his son around all that mess. Here's what what's the name said. And I know people always thought Sis was crazy.
You talk about Bad Boy.
But Chris was
You
right.
speak
She
on
was right.
Heavy D. You speak on Albie Shore.
Yeah.
And you say like, look who's standing. And now Albie Shore is now, he's being cryptic. Not too cryptic, but he's
very cryptic.
He's very cryptic. But
he's speaking louder than he's ever spoken before.
Ever.
And the reason why he's cryptic is for the sake of his son. Imagine having an enemy that has a position of influence in your child's life and knowing that that person sends you notes and messages every now and then. If you don't do this, if you don't do that, that boy is allegedly. Imagine that. Imagine that your baby mama is telling you that if you don't do what he wants you to do, he's going to child. And you know he's capable of it. Allegedly. Story in the Bible. 2 women had 2 babies. One woman went to sleep, rolled over on her baby. The other woman's baby was just fine. The woman whose baby, she got up, she went and stole the baby from her roommate. Then they fought over who the mother was. They went before the king, King Solomon. He heard both sides of the story and said, give me a knife. Give me a sword. He got the sword and he was like, I'm going to cut the baby in half and each of you can have a piece and then we'll be done with it. It was the real mother that said, don't harm that baby. She can have him.
Wow.
Why is nobody willing to accept, as monstrous as people are finding out that Diddy is now, that he wouldn't be willing to split Quincy in half? Because he would.
You talk about Bad Boy. You speak on Heavy D. You speak on Albie Shore.
Yeah.
And you say, like, look who's standing. And now Albie Shore is now, he's being cryptic.
Like,
Not too cryptic, but he's now.
He's
people
very
used
cryptic.
to,
He's
like,
very cryptic,
really,
but-
I think they even committed her at one time, saying she was so crazy and she didn't know what she was talking about and blah, 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 blah. And she's talked about a lot of people. She ain't been wrong yet, though. And so there was you know,
talk
there was
about Bad
rumors
Boy.
that I think I'll be sure is a lot of the reason why Quincy seems like he has a lot more sense than the rest of them. Because his dad is there. Like you know, it's not like his dad is not around. His dad is there. And I think that's one reason why he's so grounded. I don't think he would be as grounded if Albie Shore wasn't like present in his life.
Who's next?
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up.
Why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
And shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
We need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it.
Who's next?
Jay-Z is setting Diddy.
That's deep, right? And that's not like the only time we've heard stuff about Jay-Z. I know this is about Diddy, but
After I found out what actually happened to Aaliyah, there was no way I could stay.
Mm-mm. Oh my God.
And then I started doing my research. And I started talking to other victims. I should have never signed that non-disclosure agreement, but I did. I took the blood oath. And so did my first husband.
Whoa.
And I left.
That's why it ain't never been right since, because you left it. You don't leave anything like that.
I did. And he was paid to be my husband so no one would know who I was really involved with. Jay-Z paid for his heart surgery that he had 2 years ago when he threw my son out in the street and said he couldn't afford to take him because his doctor bills were so high. Now imagine if I told the full truth. Imagine if Chris Brown had said, I'm going to quit now because Jay-Z is going to ruin my life forever. A lot of us who did say, fuck it, I'll give it a try. Even though I don't want to do this shit, we didn't want to do it either. But when you're great and you know that you deserve the right to be heard and seen by the world, you make hard choices. No one should be forced to make that kind of choice with a God-given gift that was given by God. Nobody.
like you can hear, like that doesn't sound like somebody that's lying. You can kind of like hear the pain like in her voice. But exactly, Laugh. I want to know what J-Lo knows. If anybody knows some tea, J-Lo knows some tea. And I heard that this whole Diddy thing is a lot of reason why her and Ben just broke up. Because they've been investigating Diddy for a while. We just finding out about it now. Because Cassie, before the lawsuit went public, Cassie and her lawyer sent Diddy letters and all kind of stuff asking for $30 million. She was saying, hey, I'm going to write this book, but hey, I won't write it if you give me $30 million. And that kind of seems like money hungry, shady on her part. But with Cassie, I gave her grace because she has 2 small children. And when she is writing a book, she can have more creative control over what's in the book and what comes out. A lawsuit in court, everything is going to come out. I kind of think in the beginning, I wanted to think that's why Diddy set up so fast, because he has young daughters. He knows that this lawsuit is going to be bad and stuff is going to come out. He don't want them to be, know about him. But that probably wasn't his motive. But I don't know. And I could be wrong about that, but she did send him letters. The point is, his lawyers were on the radar about this long before we ever knew anything about it. There has been a grand jury impaneled over this for months. They've been interviewing and talking to people for months. Cassie's lawsuit kind of like got things kicked in high gear because for a really long time, Diddy has been accused of being the feds. Kanye accused Diddy of being the feds because Diddy's daddy was a federal informant. Diddy's father got shot and murdered when he was young, but when he was shot and murdered, he was a federal informant. It's in the newspaper, and so because of Diddy's whole career, everybody always got touched but Diddy. Bad things happen, and I used to think about I thought about this after Diddy came, because when Diddy came out, I was in college, and when that was like, yo, we jammed to Diddy came, like they had some hits or whatever, and when they broke up, I remember sitting there thinking like, yo, everybody near Diddy, around Diddy, up under Diddy, whatever, what you want to call it, everybody broke. Everybody's broke or dead. And it goes all the way back to Craig Mack. It goes all the way back to, Heavy D. He's dead. Craig Mack, he's dead. I don't know what happened between him and Mary J. But they're saying Mary J was a victim. I don't know. I don't know about that. But nobody lasted. Look at 112. Look, where is 112? Where they at? The dude from what was that? Making the Band. And the dude from Making the Band has been real vocal about. I saw a video he did, and bro was in tears. And I was like, oh, yep, he's telling the truth. What was his name? He was in tears, and you could just tell like something happened to bruh. Like it just didn't seem to be all about money. He was so emotional. Like it just really didn't seem to be about money. And I'm not saying something did happen to him, but everybody is broke or dead. Nobody is successful but him. Everybody ends up whatever, and Diddy has always been the one that has escaped everything. Even with Sean in the shooting. I don't like this fast page, but
Hey, yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celeb news. Now, today we have, hey, yo, man, we got, we got folks turning their back on your boy Diddy, all right? We got folks turning their back on Diddy, man, but there's one guy that won't turn their back on Diddy, man, and we're going to talk about him in a second, all right? We also got, who else we got over here on deck, man? We got folks cooperating with the feds. We done told you a little bit about that yesterday, man. Stevie J wanting to fight 50, man, and 50's response. And we also got Stevie J taking you into what a Diddy party looked like. We're gonna show you that in a second, man. Again, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source. Hey, yo, if this is your first time to the channel, man, be sure to hit the like button if you feel any part of the content, all right? You crack a smile or anything like that, man, I want to hit us with a like, man, you know what I'm saying? Because we do the same thing every day. Yo, check this out, though, man. Let's get right to it. Listen. We done told you yesterday, right? That look, they've been eyeing J-Lo, okay? Now Ashton Kutcher's behind is on the chopping block potentially, okay? Every single one of Diddy's friends are in the car looking out the window like they don't know, bruh, okay? And for good reason. I mean, look, who wants to spend the next few months in court when you're so used to enjoying outside? Now, Ashton Kutcher been cool with the diddler for about 20 years, but now bruh ain't nowhere in sight, and that's completely possible. It's completely possible for people to move on, but there's at least 10 years of knowledge the feds might be interested in. You follow what I'm saying? Now, according to the Daily Mail, Ashton Kutcher has been missing from Puff largely due to his wife, Mila Kunis. Okay, Daily Mail posted this. They said, quote, Regardless of Ashton's long history with the diddler, he has distanced himself from Diddy since Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, and even more so in the wake of the new ones. Miller will not let Ashton be in any sort of contact. He is expecting a subpoena, as they have been good friends for 20 years. Close quote. Man, look, if they subpoena, bro, man, you think he gonna talk? Tell me, yo, post it in the comments below if you think Ashton Kutcher's gonna talk. You can just put in the comments, he gonna talk. Okay? Talk or no talk. All right, let me know what you thought. What you thought. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. You follow what I'm saying, man? Meanwhile, while all this is going on, Diddy is out here just recently spotted with Stevie J riding bikes on South Beach, doing all the pre-prison activities that you would do if you had the resources and time and you was facing the kind of, you know what I'm saying, serious allegations that Diddy may be facing. Take a look at 50, my bad. Take a look at Stevie J and Diddy. What Freddie P had to say about having been linked to the diddler. Take a listen real quick.
See you fall, and it be niggas, you know what I'm saying, like, it's this nigga Puffy. And my main motherfucking reason why I really hate fucking life, dog, like, people don't even understand. It take a lot to do this video. I don't even know if I'm gonna release it, but I need to do this for my sanity. I had to just break away and talk to myself real quick. But people don't know what a nigga been through to be at your highest peak and have it snatched away from you because you don't want to kiss ass. And man, we all black people, man. Black people continue to step on each other and hold each other down. And that shit for people mental. I'm a nigga that run in there and blow your shit loose, bro. I don't give a fuck. Do you really want to be in a situation where you make a man that mad, dog? Well, you take it from a man's family where I gotta sell dope for 20 years and survive in these streets and still don't have a felony, my nigga. I have my freedom almost taken away from me several times, dog. Hear me? Trying to survive, my nigga. Can't go get no job. You just want to be regular sometimes. You can't even go get a job. You walk in the job, hey, Freddie P, what's up, boy? You gotta back up out of what the fuck? You can't even be a regular human no more after some shit like that. But he don't know nothing about that because he don't come from this shit. He don't come from this shit for real. Niggas like that don't come from this shit. Niggas like that don't think all about hurting and getting gain, power. Niggas gonna die horribly, man. You niggas gonna die horribly. Test cancer something, man. God gonna get you niggas, man. Cause you fuck with God hard, man. You got a nigga like me don't even care about no money. I would have did way more for my city than any one of these niggas did. Cause I'm from Liberty City, I'm from Overtown. Them niggas just shoot videos though. Them niggas ain't never did shit for Gibson Park, William Park. Them niggas ain't never built no homes for the homeless. Them niggas ain't did nothing I would have did. Them niggas exploited my city, they exploited the culture. Y'all don't know, I'm just telling y'all, man. Be mindful, dog. Appreciate what you got, man. But listen, you're not God, bro. When God put you on a mission to change people's lives, you do what he asks you to do. And you'll be rewarded. Nigga at 900 million, nigga, you still at 9. Kanye done passed you. Jay done passed you. Cause they don't practice bad business like that. They ain't stepping on each other to get where they gotta go. Nigga, you look at Jay-Z, nigga, Dame made millions, Bean made millions. All the niggas around them made real money. Nigga, you ain't made 200,000 with you, nigga. But you done made over 60, 70 million off us, nigga. And when you make 200,000 a piece off you, nigga.
He's saying they ain't make nothing. But he doesn't. Don't he sound like
the music industry? I got people in this music industry right now that won't fuck with me, and I was cool with.
Don't it just sound like with him and his voice is just so emotional? Like it just seemed like it's deeper than music. Like bro sound like he crying out for help. But I know he was like arrested for drugs. I think he was selling drugs or something like that. But that's because Diddy won't give people the rights to their music. So the white girl from Diddy Kane, I can't think of her name right now, but she kind of been in the back and forth with Diddy for years about the music. Mace, that's why Mace got beef with him, because Diddy won't give Mace the rights to his music. Matter of fact, Diddy has the rights to Mace's music in Diddy's mama's name. He has the mind of a criminal in the aspect of he does stuff like that. Like the house that they raided in March was in his daughter's name. The rights to Mace's music is in his mama's name. So Mace can't sue him. He would have to, like, he is backdoor stuff like that that's been going on for years. But as we all know, his bodyguard has always been speaking out. Gene Deal has always been speaking out. There's people that was always saying Gene Deal need to be quiet. Gene Deal gonna get hurt. Blah blah blah. I mean, ain't nothing happened to him yet, but he been telling all the truth.
Gene Deal, happy to have you back on the platform, my guy. Man, happy to be here, bro.
I'm just
Representing
happy people
Houston
are starting to
today
like
with this
see it now.
Astro
Like everybody but money. Just because
Rockets,
you got
the
money,
Astros
just
on
because you
here, you know
donate
what I'm
money
saying? The
and
Houston
people about
Rockets,
charities and stuff, it
everything
don't mean
about
you're a good
Houston today,
person.
man. Salute to those
You don't
people
know
that
what these
just went
people are
out
doing
there
when the lights
and
go
had to
out.
go through that I guess it was some kind of hurricane, tornado, rainstorm, whatever, man. I got a lot of family out that way, man. You understand? Whatever they say, the lies don't stand, bro. The truth stand. So Ice Cube saying that, I was a little disappointed. But what he was actually letting y'all know was this. It ain't only Diddy. There's other people. But because he came out and called those people racist, because he came out and tried to put a lawsuit against them, they gonna show him you don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's what that was all about. I met Ice Cube before when Puff was doing a video with Fabulous in California on the beach. Ice Cube, within walking distance, was doing beauty shots at this what's it, beauty? It was barbershop at this place. I guess it was a barbershop right there next to the beach or whatever. He was shooting it there. So Kobe was there, Fabulous, Puff, and then we went over to the set of barbershop. I met him before, a good brother, man. But all he was saying in a slick way was that it ain't only Puff. Puff ain't the only one that's doing this. He's just being targeted about what he has said and what he did, bro. Yeah, I know Cube, he getting a lot of backlash right now for that comment.
Yeah, he ain't the only one. Look what Misa did, bro. Puff baby mama. First she was saying, yo, you went from making hit records, 6 songs, traveling the world, now you selling alcohol and death to the kids or something like that. And now she done came to his defense. You're gonna have people come to his defense and say things because they know that they could be next or their legacy could be gone because of what he did and how he operated. She knows that Justin could lose everything that he had in Justin's name. All the people that sue him, if half of them win, that's a whole lot of money. He'll never get the endorsement. He'll never get what he had before. She see that now that Justin and anybody that's a part of him can lose what they have and not gain anything behind none of this.
So I want to ask you, your
So that's what
personal
I was
opinion.
saying. He got stuff in his kids' names. That's if somebody like I said, he got the rights to Mace music in his mama name. Mace would have to sue his mom. You know, if the feds wanted to freeze his assets, or if the IRS wanted to do something to his assets, he got stuff in his kids' names. Like, so instead of leaving a legacy in a money mountain for his kids, he'd be leaving debt for them. I just told y'all a couple days ago that there was $100 million judgment entered against him from the lawsuit that this guy filed, that I guess he was basically saying that he was Diddy's like sex slave. Anyway, there was a court date last week. Diddy nor his lawyer showed up, so the judge entered a mandatory judgment of $100 million and set a payment plan of when Diddy is to pay this money. So that's 100. And so they're appealing it. I think they came out the next day and said they didn't know about it or something like that. But if that doesn't hold up in the appeal, that's $100 million right there gone. We think of and we hear billionaire and we're like, oh, that's a lot of money. That's assets. That's real estate. That's stuff he got. That's money he got tied up, here or there on investments and stuff. As far as liquid cash, he doesn't have that much money just sitting around. He would have to go and sell stuff off. But the stuff that he's got to sell off, he done put in his kids' names, his mama name. Like, that's dirty work to your kids. Like, especially when you know you shady. Like, if you know you shady and at some point your castle could come crumbling down, if your castle were to come crumbling down, the last people you want to be affected by is your kids. But that's not how he has it set up. He has it set up that his kids is going to come down with him. Right. His kids don't, it's not like his kids are millionaires and billionaires in their own right. Without him, his kids are essentially nothing without him. The Misa, the baby mama that Gene Deal was just talking about, her son Justin was, I believe, in college at UCLA. But y'all remember Diddy went and beat up the football coach? Y'all remember that? Diddy went and beat up the football coach at the school. And that pretty much was Justin's college career. So he dropped out of college. And he doesn't have anything to fall back on. Being Diddy's son is essentially his job. Yeah, y'all remember this? Like, we should have been looking at him sideways when this happened.
That's Sean Diddy Combs being escorted from a police car in handcuffs. The 45-year-old music mogul was charged with assault with a deadly weapon after allegedly swinging a kettlebell like this at UCLA's assistant football coach's head. The confrontation took place between Combs and Sal Alosi, who coaches Combs' 21-year-old son, Justin, a defensive back on the team. Police say Combs lost his temper because he thought the coach was being hard on Justin during practice. No one was seriously injured. Alosi made headlines in 2010 when he was a coach with the Jets and was caught on camera tripping a Miami Dolphins player.
UCLA, my son's first game.
Combs posted this video to YouTube 3 years ago, a proud dad at his son's first college game. The head coach at UCLA said, "This is an unfortunate incident for all parties involved."
Yeah, he beat up the football coach. Like, the Green Mountain. Like, he beat up the football coach. This is your son's. Come on.
the after party, we run into Diddy, and Diddy tells us to come meet him at. He tells them, not me. He tells Kim and them, yo, come meet me at Steve Rifkin house. And we all go over to Steve Rifkin house. And while we there was another executive that had been making passes at me a lot in the entertainment industry. He shows up.
For context, what does that look like? Because they're not gonna be that bold, are they?
What do you mean?
Is it like, you know how if you shoot a shot at a woman, it could be either very direct or very subtle?
It's very direct. Not trying to grab a nigga nuts, but you know when someone is attracted to you, male, female.
Okay.
I don't give a f- it's a dog, and he humping on your leg.
Right.
You know the motherfucker horny.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, it was definitely obvious. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially in hindsight. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that lifestyle exists within the industry, right?
We've heard it, and
it's a fact, brother. It's a fact. From sports players, singers, actors, comedians, white, black, Asian, it don't matter.
So, because that's a whole conversation you just said, even with the Diddy story. Are you like, how do you respond to that when he makes a pass at you? You play it off?
You
laugh?
You
be
treat,
like, I'm cool.
for me, at this stage in my life, I'm more mature than to punch a nigga in his face, right? So you just ignore it, and you kind of give him the look like, nah. And giving that nigga the look made him just look hard and made me put my head down. Because he got 5 niggas standing around him. They like the whole booty mob and shit, right? And I'm sitting there like, what the hell? I would grab Hillary by her shirt and I drag her ass outside. Like, yo, this nigga over here hitting on me. Like, yo, don't bring me to nothing like this. And then when I'm not going to name all the people that was there. And I talked about this before, but I'm not going to do that, right? But everybody that was there was either gay or secretly gay or bisexual. But right now, from what I know now, and I say, they all get down like that, right?
Right.
And me hanging with them, they could have thought that because I was hanging with Lil' Kim, that maybe I would be with that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to knock them for trying. You know what I'm saying? Because all these 75%, 85% of these people that's in the industry that's popular, you know what I'm saying, have succumbed to that lifestyle.
My question for that, and then we can kind of do a spin move out of it. Because I'm always curious about, was it already in them, or was it does the industry groom them to be open to it?
The industry grooms them to be. But Big is writing all Junior Mafia, Lil' Kim, everything, but he telling Puff, they writing their own because he's in the publishing deal with Diddy, right?
Okay.
This is what I think ultimately why Big got killed, because he was robbing Puff.
So does that clear Diddy's involvement with it?
No, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Could you kind of put that on? It seemed like you angled it like Reggie as an orchestrator, but where does Diddy fit in that equation then? Because people are trying to assume that he is connected to Tupac's assassination.
All right. First and foremost, let me say my points and views are speculation, right? This is just all through research. And my points and views is not the points and views of Comedy Hype, all right? First and foremost, let me say that, right? So, Reggie, I believe, is involved because, let's take it back to Diddy, right?
Mm-hmm.
More recently, there's a rapper, or a former rapper, I don't even know if he's a rapper anymore, but a guy named Little Sean did an interview recently, and that brought up more of Diddy's involvement to me, right?
Okay.
The Quad Studios session, right? Where Tupac got shot, right? I believe that that's where the ultimate ending in Vegas, I think that this is the origin.
Connected.
Yes.
Okay.
Right? Why I say that is this, right? I watched this interview with Lil Sean more recently, and when he talked about it, the quad shooting, this time he left blanks. He didn't want to mention Diddy name, and he didn't want to mention Jimmy Henchman name, right? Which was odd to me because when he left those blanks, I went and did research, and I went through all his interviews. I found his original interview with Combat Jack, where he names everybody, right? And the more recent one, he's just talking about, I got too much respect for these dudes. I don't want to mention their names. They my big brothers. I'm like, damn, who he talking about? So I go research, boom, find the Combat Jack joint. He giving all up, right? The blanks that was missing was Diddy and Jimmy Henchman, right? So now here's what happens. If you go look at the Vibe interview with Diddy, or MTV interview, sorry, with Biggie and Puff sitting on the couch. You know that one, right?
Yeah.
They are questioned about the shooting at Quad Studios. Diddy never mentions Jimmy Henchman, right? So what happens is this. Pac is doing bad at the time, right? He's famous, but financially, he's hurting, right? They all know this. So Jimmy Henchman was trying to manage Pac. Pac wasn't like, nah, nigga, I'm not letting you manage me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that began the little friction, allegedly, right? He wouldn't let him manage him. Pac is in New York shooting above the rim, right? He's now hanging out with Haitian Jack, right? For whatever reason, they got close to him, and Pac is, finally financially messed up. Jack is taking him shopping, buying them Rolex, they getting in with him. They see his potential, and so you know how they do. It's like the hustlers that take care of the kid that know how to play basketball in the hood. Hopefully you go to NBA, I'm good, right? So Jack is looking out for Pac. Big knows Haitian Jack, you know what I'm saying? On all of them, they know Haitian Jack and they know his reputation. Big go and tell Pac, yo, you don't be hanging with these niggas. These niggas ain't right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Pac go back and tell Haitian Jack what Big said, and Big gets robbed. Fast forward, Jimmy Henchman has an argument for whatever reason with Pac on the phone, right? Now, Lance Rivera tells this story, and they on the phone, they say Pac arguing with a dude because Jimmy wanted Pac to do a verse for Little Sean. Pac said, yo, I'll do it for 7 bands, right? So he go to Ron G house, he do Ron G mixtape for free, but he charging these dudes, right? So Jimmy Henchman calls Pac, or one of his boys called Pac, whoever, to set up the session, right? Now, this falls on the tail of the rape case.
Okay.
Right? Lil Sean, Jack, and Pac hang out, right?
Okay.
Now, Lil Sean said when he met Pac, they never even had no conversation. They rode in a car together. They went to a spot, Nels or whatever. They hung out, whatever, right? That's where Pac got head from the girl on the dance floor. That's where he met the girl, Ayanna Jackson, or whatever, right? But Lil Sean is saying that him and Pac never had no no interaction yet. They never had no interaction for them to be doing no song, and they don't even make the same type of music for him to be doing the song.
Okay.
With him, right?
Okay.
With him, right? So Lil Sean,
Danny,
so Jimmy and Pac
so Jimmy
have
Henchman,
this phone call where
He's
they
in prison
threatening each other.
right now.
Yo, nigga, I'll kill you, according to Un, right? So when Pac get off the phone, they ask Pac, yo, who you was talking to like that? And he's like, some nigga named Jimmy Henchman. And they like, Jimmy Henchman? Nigga, you crazy? Like, yo, Jimmy Henchman, like, yo, that dude to kill you. You like, yo, we gotta get guns, like, right? So this is all according to Un, right? So now Pac and them go to the studio. Well, he said, Pac, like, yo, so what, we need guns or whatever? Like, yeah, nigga, we need guns, whatever. So Jimmy called and like, yo, I got your money, whatever, show up to the studio, allegedly,
He's
right?
very long-winded
So
with this story, but it was
when Pac
basically
is
like
coming
I
to
was
the
saying,
studio,
Pac
right?
got robbed
Now
and
here's
shot.
where Puff comes in at, right? Pac is coming to the studio. While Pac is coming to the studio, Puff finds out that Biggie and them is having a session, a junior mafia session.
Okay.
Now, allegedly, Puff don't know about this session, and remember, Biggie is screwing Puff over because he got a publishing deal with Diddy, right?
Okay.
But Big is writing all Junior Mafia, Lil Kim, everything, but he telling Puff they writing their own because he's in the publishing deal with Diddy, right? This is what I think ultimately why Big got killed, because he was robbing Puff, right? We'll get to that, right? So when Pac is coming to the studio to do the verse for Little Sean, when he see Little C's on the balcony, he like, yo, Pac, what up? He's assuming that Big and them is upstairs in the session that he's going to do the verse.
Right.
Right? This is why he blamed Big in them in the beginning. Right? So when he comes around the corner, you know, the dudes who we know who they are now, they in front of the quad, you know, and when he told.
So that's the shooting I was talking about when Tupac went to the studio and he got shot and all that. Jimmy Henchman is allegedly one of the shooters, I believe. He's even implicated himself in the Tupac shooting. Like he just ain't nobody to like. He's always was revered as like one of those dudes in New York that wasn't nobody to mess with. I think there's even a documentary on YouTube, Jimmy Henchman, New York City's monster or something like that. But yeah, but it's just weird how everybody under Diddy has not reached success. Like I said, where's 112? Where's Total? Y'all remember Total? You know, where everybody falls but Diddy and his rich friends. Whether you believe in the Illuminati or not, I'm still on the fence about it. But I do know and I believe that all these rich people are in this together or whatever. They all got ties together. So when that video came out of Cassie and Diddy at the hotel, that was leaked by the feds because it was given directly to CNN. TMZ didn't have it. No blog had it. That video was quote unquote leaked directly to CNN. Now, if somebody's gonna leak a video, they're gonna leak it to, number one, they're gonna leak it to somebody who's gonna pay for it. But they're gonna leak it to, a blog site. That's traditionally what you do. CNN doesn't have to pay for put it like this. The feds leaked that video to CNN and they linked it to CNN because CNN is globally known. You can go to any airport right now and CNN is on TV. You can go to any hotel to check in. CNN is on TV in the lobby. I mean, you got your other stations, but CNN is globally known. So they were sending a message to all his rich friends, like, okay, if we see him, you gotta know we see you. And that's why the DA in that press conference we watched earlier made it very clear to say this investigation is ongoing and we're not done locking people up. Like he didn't have to say that. He made sure to say that. He wants to let all the supporters and all the people that they got on tape. They have these people, some of these people they have on tape at these freak offs. And I'm pretty sure it would surprise a lot of us who's on them tapes. Well, I don't even know if surprise is the right word. Maybe shock. Do you think he'll do prison time? Diddy's definitely doing prison time. He's definitely doing prison time. Number one is the feds. And the feds have a 99% conviction rate. The feds don't come for you unless they know they are going to win the case. Feds they don't like unwinnable cases. That's why, like, when people be in the chat talking about, oh, I wonder if the feds are going to pick up Thug's case. No, they're not. Because this is not a winnable case. Not at, well, let's say not as the state of Georgia has it laid out. As the state of Georgia has it laid out, this is not a winnable case. They can't get their witnesses to show up to testify. Their theory is all over the place. Donovan Thomas's demise had like 11 people arrested for it. Woody was arrested for it. Moot Toot was arrested for it. Now these guys is arrested for it. Who do y'all know who like the feds? The feds come for cases they know they can prosecute and they can win. And so I do feel like Diddy is going to do prison time. The question is how much prison time. It's not a question of if, it's how much. And on top of the fact that they denied his bond today, and this is the T. So another reason why they denied his bond is because if y'all remember last week, I posted about how Don Richards just now filed a lawsuit on him, and Don Richards is from the group Diddy Kane. So since Don Richards filed that lawsuit, Diddy has called her. It was either her or her lawyer or her somebody. Diddy has reached out in that direction 54 times in one day. So when that was September 10th, she filed that lawsuit. On that day or sometime thereafter, Diddy called 54 times in one day. Let me tell you something. You call me more than 2-3 times and we got a problem. And don't back to back call me either. Like when people like hang up call, oh, that's a good way. Number one, to piss me off and not to get a call back. But I don't know if it was like that, but 54 times. So that is considered witness intimidation. That is considered witness tampering. That is a big deal. They don't take witness tampering and witness intimidation lightly at all in any case. If you remember, that's allegedly the reason why Thug and them couldn't get bond, because the DA made this case that Thug and them was so dangerous and the witnesses were scared and there's been all this intimidation and everything, but yet they were let out on plea deals. And I didn't even think about it that way until one of the lawyers pointed it out like that in court. But if these guys were so dangerous they couldn't even get bond, how is it that they can get 15 years probation? Now they're not dangerous, but 2 weeks ago they were. I'm like, okay, but yeah. So he didn't get bond, and it was largely due to the allegation of witness intimidation, because like I said, that's a big deal. And witness intimidation is going to F up the Fed's case, and the Feds are not going to stand for their case being effed up because of their conviction rate. So, no, yeah, he's going to do prison time. It's just really the question of how much and how deep the Feds can trace this rabbit hole back to. Because we're talking about things that Diddy is accused or alleged to have done 1995, 96. It goes further than that. I mean, I think one of these lawsuits that came out was from some girl that was 92 sometime. I don't know about the statute of limitations when it comes to. Let me change my sentence. I am not sure about how the statute of limitations goes when it comes to federal cases and when it comes to RICOs, just because the third case has got me severely confused on if a charge or a crime is past the statute of limitations, then how does it fit into a RICO? Does it fit into a RICO because a RICO encompasses everything, and do statute limitations not matter anymore? See, I'm confused. And you confused just listening to me talk about it. So I'm not sure how that works, but it's how deep they can trace the rabbit hole. And it deals with what else did they find in that house? They only gonna tell the media but so much. They could have found a lot more in that house that we don't know about. Yeah. Statute of limitations, but it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But yes, I definitely think he's gonna do some prison time. I was gonna read the indictment, but I mean the what the prosecutor said pretty much summed it up. Here is I thought I did this already. I'm sorry. Here's the link though. So hit the link if you want to share your thoughts. What's going on with Diddy? I'm checking IG because I know that 50 is gonna roast his. I wonder, is 50 seriously working on that documentary? Did he do it? Hello.
Hi.
Hey. What you think?
Diddy, Diddy, Diddy. It's about time because this been going on for so long that a lot of this probably could have been prevented if they had nipped this back in the 90s. First thing that comes to my mind is Keefe D. Like, they talked to him back when Tupac was killed. So when there was that suspicion, they should have kept going with that. Because that would have linked back to Diddy, and then majority of the stuff we talking about, Cassie, Kim Port, some of this stuff would never even have happened had they done something back then when they first were red flag. But to know that he, like, I really want him to be psychologically evaluated, not for him to go to like a psych place or whatever, but I just don't understand that thought process for someone like him. I don't understand it. Where did things go wrong? Who hurt you in your childhood? It's just, it's sad. And I'm scared after watching the video of the news break that They can't even tell us how many, probably because it's gonna shock the hell out of us. I mean, we're talking 2-3 decades.
Yeah. I mean, I guess because you would think they would be able to say a handful or I mean, okay, I guess number one, when you take into account all the lawsuits that have been filed, so it was Cassie, and then immediately after Cassie, it was like 2, 3 in a row, and then the Little Rod's lawsuit came out.
Mhm.
I mean, so if you take into account all of those, and then on top of whatever else that they found, like
We're
that's
not
crazy.
even at a year, I don't think, of when Cassie put hers in.
No, I think Rod came with his a couple months after Cassie. Um,
So this ain't even a year ago that this all started, and look at how big it's blown
I
up.
I also think that they have charges for Young Miami
Oh,
because in Lil Rod's lawsuit, Young Miami was accused of being in possession and supplying drugs as well. She was accused of having girls
I thought
around
that.
and available.
Yeah. Okay. I heard that for sure. Yes.
Now,
Whew.
if they can prove it, I think they have charges for her as well. But she would know. Well, I think I would say she would know by now, or at least her lawyers would know by now if they were at least looking at her. Um, I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, it just all just depends on what evidence they have that they could tie back. Like I said, they're not gonna. They arrested him because they probably have all the evidence they need on him. But
Mhm.
as far as the feds, like I said, they want to make sure they have a solid case. So,
I
because it's
think.
like, I wonder what I mean, like, what are we waiting on to get everybody else? We know there's other people. Like, and how
I
crazy
think
would
it's.
it be?
I think
With,
it's gonna be. I think they're probably gonna have to go through the process of, do you want to be on this side or do you want to be on that side? And
right, and
with
people are
all
gonna
of the
start
people
talking.
that they are paying back to Diddy, like, do you want to admit to everything that you've done and tell us everything that you know about him, and we'll let you go scot free? That, or you can go over there and let a jury convict you. Like, I mean, they would be
I don't think
crazy.
when it comes to, I don't think he has a leg to stand on with anybody. Whatever he thought was loyalty in his camp, I don't think he has that because if when it comes to people that have money, they don't want their name and their reputation tarnished by this. So they gonna start talking. When it comes to the underlings, like the private assistants and the whatever, they don't want to stay in jail 30, 40 years off of this either. So they gonna talk. He doesn't have, I don't think he has the insurance he thought he had. Like the insurance being the dirt that he may or may not have on people. I think the feds are trying to make it so that whatever dirt he has on people doesn't matter.
Right. I mean, there's just not. I mean, there's nothing he can do. If, it's sickening. And what's so sad, and this is me not trying to give him the benefit of the doubt by any means, but what's so sad is that he probably did the most for people he thought would be loyal to him, and you see nobody's by his side. That's got to be the most craziest shit ever.
Well, yeah, and that's what narcissists do. Narcissists, they take care of you. They show you the good side
Hmm.
so that when something happens like this, they can say, "Oh well, how can you turn your back on me?" And I did blah 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 for you. And so they'll be expecting that loyalty, and then the person, you know, maybe he might did change their life. They might be looking like, well, he did help me, so maybe I do owe him loyalty. But I guarantee nobody wants to go down
Right.
behind him.
Mm-mm.
And you know who else has a story? I want to know what Fonzberg Bentley knows.
Yes. I keep every time he gets brought up, I always forget about him and how significant he is to this. I don't know who, what, when, where, how. I just remember, I think the last little bit of information was he came down to Atlanta and started living a off radar lifestyle.
Right. I think I might follow him on Instagram. And his Instagram is really just all about being a dad and just living a normal, peaceful life. But that's the thing. That's a pattern. Because Mace did the same. Mace was gone in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gene Deal did an interview kind of explaining Mace leaving, but it was like 1 minute Mace was here, and then the next minute Mace was in Georgia and he was a preacher, and he didn't do hip hop no more. He was gone. He said he left everything and said goodbye. That's a pattern. That's a pattern with people, that you are attached to a music mogul. You're attached to one of the most successful people in the music industry, and you'd rather walk away. Jaguar Wright, you'd
Mm-hmm.
rather walk away from all of it than to be attached to it. That tells a lot.
I mean,
Farnsworth
as
was
a
his right hand,
businessman,
huh?
as a businessman, like I couldn't even take him seriously if, aside from what we mostly think of with Diddy music wise, me looking at how his relationships have been in the past with failed business ventures that he's done, I would never want to go into business with him ever.
Yeah. Bad Boy South. When he brought Bad Boy down to the South and started recruiting Atlanta artists. That's done. Like it's like everything he touches goes to shit. Like
I
that's crazy.
I knew something at a very young age. I knew at a very young age someone right about those grown people walking in New York in the freezing cold for some cheesecake. For him. I knew at a young age someone right about that. And this is just, it's just sickening. I mean, it's sickening to
So
hear the words like freak off. It grosses me out because of what's tied to it now.
So
I
who's worse in your book? Who's worse in your book, R. Kelly or Diddy?
Oh, am I kind of biased though to R. Kelly? Just because I love his music. Um, I mean, they're both equally wrong for what they've done. No question about it. But at some point there were adult females involved, or where they were at a point they could have said no and walked away. So if you choose to stay in that situation when you are the adult, I have to look at the other situation where people did not have that choice, and that looks even worse for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, because the R. Kelly aspect of it is the underage part. But I mean, you're right. At some point, when these girls did become adults, like I said, R. Kelly was absolutely wrong for what he did. But
Mhm.
those girls were not chained to the wall. They were not
Right.
handcuffed to the bed. They were free to come and go as they please. They went shopping all the time. They did this, they did that, you know. So it's, and I understand the mind control he probably could have had over them, but
Mhm.
when it comes to Diddy though, like I don't remember hearing a lot being said about R. Kelly drugging.
Yeah, I knew you were about to say that, soul sister. Yes, I
Because that
I
adds a
was.
whole extra layer to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean the magnitude. Like I said, it doesn't justify one or the other, but the magnitude of the number of victims for R. Kelly compared to we don't even know, but we know it's a lot more victims, a whole lot more victims with what Diddy got going on compared to R. Kelly, 10 victims. Diddy is probably in the hundreds or more.
Yeah, they're equally. Yeah, yeah, Diddy might be. He might have the cake for this one. I mean, just because and there are reports of when I say imprisoned, I mean you can't leave. You're not free to go or whatever. And Cassie said there were times where she was
Mhm.
not free. And obviously, in that
We
hotel,
see
she
in
was
the
not free to go.
exactly, exactly.
So it's it just adds extra layer to it when it comes to the drugging because there's a difference between like when you're drugged, I cannot that's the law. That so whether you are really kind of whether you say no or not, if you are drugged, that is considered great. Or
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
that is considered
Mm-hmm.
because if I am inebriated, I cannot say yes and consent to this act under my right state of mind.
Right.
I'll tell you, whatever drug you got me on, I might tell you yeah to anything. Hey, let's go to the moon. Okay, sure.
And I mean, I don't know if you've seen the movie Taken before. I had mentioned it kind of early at the beginning
Yeah,
of the live. That the very first movie of Taken in the series, that just that's all I picture with Diddy.
yeah,
Like just over here. It was in another country over there, but over here. And I know that after like watching different documentaries of like some serial killers and stuff like that, they would ask them like, why would you do something like that? And they said, because I want to be remembered in a negative way. And I can't help but think Diddy is like his mentality is like that. Like he wants to go down in history in this negative way. Because there's just absolutely no way he woke up every single day thinking that his life was okay, that the things that he did every single day was okay. I can't. Being a father too, I can't.
mm. His lawyer made some comments today that were like off the wall. So when they were denied bail after court, some reporters went to talk to his lawyer, and his lawyer's quoted saying that they're going to appeal the decision for bail. Um, and he's going to clear his name. We're going to stand by his side. He said he didn't do these things. I mean, I know that's what you're paid to say or whatever, but
I mean, he would be representing himself. Brian Steele and Johnny Cochran together could not even help save this man. It's too much evidence. It's too many people who've come forward, and this is just now. By the time it does go to trial, I believe that it will be more people definitely not 700 witnesses, but it'll be more people who come forward with things to say. And you just, there's truth in some of it, if not all of it.
So his so the judge so the judge being a woman plays a part too, because a woman is going to be sensitive to another woman's, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the judge is quoted saying, "This is a crime that happens behind closed doors, even when pretrial services is monitoring." She said there were no conditions that she could find that would assure he would appear in court if released. Therefore, he is to be held in detention without bond until court. His lawyers asked for him to be put on a $50 million bond secured in his Miami residence. And the judge was like, nope, nope, I can't guarantee that you're going to come back to court. And like I said, the witness intimidation, that plays a lot into it. You can't, the girl came up with the lawsuit and he called 54 times in one day. Like, what do you want?
Ooh. Ooh.
What do you want? Like, what
It
is it that you have to say to me?
tells for itself. It just.
So I watched this. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, when I asked you earlier about do you think he's gonna go to prison? I was trying to say, or do you think something else is gonna happen? Because I could very well see this playing out almost like Jeffrey
Yeah,
Epstein.
Epstein. Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody. I've
yeah.
already seen that going around the internet. Like, that's already been going around the internet.
Mm-hmm. That ooh.
I watched this. Maybe we should watch this one. Well, we're not gonna watch all of this, girl, because her voice is like slightly annoying. But I watch this blog sometimes. Her name is called Tisa Tales, and she's a gossip, like strictly a gossip blogger. Like, she be knowing all the tea. Like, but she has been on this for months, so she is like celebrating the day. But we'll just watch a little bit of this because, like I said, her voice, she gets way too excited. Let me share.
How is this to defense? How is I know Diddy is taking off those little those little soft slippers that they give you in jail and throwing it at the TV while everybody's against the wall, just making sure no Diddy, no Diddy, no doubt. He continues. This case is eminently manageable. Manageable? Yeah, Mofo, if you stay in jail for the rest of your life, even though they're gonna have to. Diddy is so twisted in my mind after everything I've read and all the people I've talked to. I feel like Diddy is going to be in lockup and they're going to have him in solitary confinement like Hannibal Lecter with a mask over his mouth, probably because he won't stop mouth breathing and his mouth smells dry. I really honestly think that's what's going to happen. What do you mean you think this is infinitely manageable? He said the pretrial services say he has a criminal record, but he was acquitted. Oh, justice for Natanya Rubin. That's that criminal record they talk about. He was arrested. He's ready to do that again. What is Mr. Combs doing in New York? He's here for treatment and therapy. Again, why is it so important? Diddy's lawyer just said in the press conference and to TMZ, and TMZ is the ops because I have exactly what went down in the courtroom. TMZ left all the juicy stuff out. You can't tell me they're not the ops, right? Again, I think Harvey's friends with Diddy's lawyer, so he's doing them a solid. Diddy's lawyer just sat there and told us on Twitter last night and also in that press conference today that Diddy was nice enough to come and return. He returned to New York to prepare for bail. Now, here's the thing. The judge didn't fall for it. The judge is like, nah. And I just want to say, I told y'all 2 weeks ago that Diddy was in New York trying to intimidate witnesses and to make sure people kept his mouth shut. Y'all said I was lying. Y'all said, and no, I'm not going to stop tooting my own horn because y'all were, not y'all, but the people in the back were busy calling me every type of liar, child of God, making up stuff, a double agent, an industry plant, of this or that. And I was MF and right about everything. So if I am a plant, it looks like the U.S. justice system put me in this bitch to make sure that Diddy went down. Thank them. Y'all should have asked what industry it was. Y'all already know my scary ass is not going to be in the music industry. But anyway, right? Maybe I'm a plant from the government to make sure that Diddy go down. You welcome, right? But anyway, now he was, so anyway, I was like, he was doing witness intimidation. I did a bunch of videos about it. People said I was lying about him even being in New York. He was off in somewhere overseas. And I said, Diddy don't have passport control. What are you talking about? Anyway, the judge asked, what was he doing in New York? Because the feds are saying that he was witness intimidation. And we have proof that he was trying to intimidate witnesses or bribe them. And he said, Mr. Anglinophilia said, he's here for treatment and therapy. So you weren't here preparing for the arrest and you didn't think you were going to be arrested. And the reasons the feds ran up into your spot is because they found out that you were trying to bribe, do witness intimidation, and you were obstructing justice. And they said, it ends today. This mofo been laughing at us. He should be dating Christian because every time Christian take a swipe at the feds, they hit Diddy in the face. They dragged him out the hotel room, did a search, found the Tucci, which, by the way, is illegal, Diddy. How are you under grand jury indictment? Do you know how much you have to be enacted to be under a grand jury indictment and you still got that pink shit laying on your dresser? Like it's some melatonin gummies you take before you go to school. I mean, not school, before you go to sleep. You acting like you got Tucci or whatever that pink powder was from GNC. Diddy, what is going on? Like literally. They said, so anyway, Inner City Press said, the U.S. attorney said, there's one victim in count 2 of the blank trafficking charge. Mr. Combs wrote a very large check to someone he was in a relationship for 10 years. People got in line for their checks. I had no idea. 12 victims I didn't know. I'm happy there's only one. Yo. Woo! People got in line. There's one victim in count 2. I guess that's Cassie. He wrote a big, and then 12 people got in line for a check. They also said, this is live tweeting from the court. This is exactly what happened. TMZ is not going to tell you. It's not going to be in Vanity Fair. Baby, we got a live tweeter in the court. If you guys, can you hit that subscribe and like button? I will do my best to make sure that I can be in court and live tweet and come back and tell y'all what I saw. All right. They said he had what appeared to be narcotics. This is the U.S. attorney. Found in his hotel room last night. Pink powder that had previously tested positive for E and other drugs. This is a Heartland detention case. His package is woefully inadequate. It is. You literally expect us to believe if you are offering 50 million bail, you only have to put 10% down. So that means that you're going to put 5 million cash down. Do you honestly not think Diddy, whose middle name is take that, Mr. Money, do you think that we're so stupid, and by we, I mean a federal judge, that we don't think that you won't pay 5 million so you can go and disappear in Somalia, literally putting on a thing, talking about some, literally, my friend Diddy, I know he's a man, but he's going to be in full garb. Like, my friend, I hear you come from the West. Do you have any Tucci? This gonna be Diddy in the alley. Arabian night. Do you have any Tucci, my friend? My friend, do you carry any Tucci? Oh, literally, they gonna be like Harlem reports.
I told you she's so extra.
I'm like, what?
I see the coffee because I think Somalia is a mostly Muslim nation. Is it? I think it is. So they don't really drink like that, or maybe they do. I don't know. I don't want to get into insulting anybody's culture. I just thought they was a Muslim nature. So he literally going to listen. he literally going to be in there, literally spiking people's coffees or they could drink. Literally, we all sudden going to hear stuff on Somali. But I'll tell you one thing, baby. I got Somali girlfriends, baby. I know their brothers and cousins. Diddy, you can think you going to be on some Arabian Night. You think you're going to be like, my friend, do you have any tuchi? My friend, can you take me to the paradise of women? You think you're going to be on some Arabian Nights? Baby, you might have gotten away with this mess in America, and don't ask me how. You talking about you come to America, but you can't imitate this violence. Baby, mess around with some Somalis and see the way they pack. Mess around. I got plenty of Somali friends. Mess around with some MF Somalis, baby. They will park you. They will pack you right up. That will be your first and last day you doing that stuff. Baby, you don't want to play with Somalis. Even over there, they just like, do not get the Somalis upset. Yes, they seem nice. Yes, they some of the funniest people you're going to meet. Yes, but I am telling you, there is a flip side to that coin. If you step on the wrong side, baby, all that funny ha. Ooh, you ain't seen nothing like that. Just please stay on the Somali's good side. Diddy, you can fly overseas and try to blend in all you want. They gonna park you. They gonna park you and pack you up. Anyway, right? He gonna be literally, I'm just saying, I got plenty of Somali friends. They are the nice. Kalina is minding her business. You called her 54 times to try to intimidate her and harass her. And also, you're so crazy. That's the entitlement and the arrogance and mega arrogance you had. Kalina is half of Dirty Money. If you guys don't know, Dawn Richards and Diddy, Dawn Richards, Kalina, and Diddy were Dirty Money. Dirty Money had one of Diddy's biggest albums where they were on, the album was called Last Train to Paris. Side note, Diddy said that when he made that album, he called it train music. And we let that go. And I remember train music. What's train music? Like elevator music? Because you know me, I sing on the PG side of things. That ain't even a flex. That's just where my heart naturally goes. He literally wanted to make a new genre called train music. Now that we know about Diddy, that train music hit a little bit different, right? All this stuff's going on. You felt entitlement, anger, rage, and you knew the feds were watching you and bugging you and looking for a reason to lock you up. You called this woman 54 times. Diddy's crazy. To be this unhinged and do this while the feds are watching, what would you do if they're not watching? But let's continue, right? Listen, that statement that Dawn made, let me just read it for y'all really quick. It looks like the feds are saying that she coerced that statement and made her make that statement. Diddy really thought that he was running shit. He really thought that he was some type of mob boss. And then after he got that statement, his lawyers then made TikToks about how, yeah, Don don't got a case. Are y'all insane? And then Christian and his kids were walking around and Diddy sitting there talking about, yeah, love all day. And literally on his thuggy gangster mouth breather stuff, that mofo is crazy. He's crazy. I remember when he lost his mind. There was something like, he is crazy. So this is what Dawn said that the feds are saying, that this statement was coerced, and this is the reason that the feds have parked Diddy in jail till trial. My opinion, right? This is my opinion. So Jamie was saying she thinks that's why the feds arrested Diddy and didn't let him come in Tuesday. The feds are saying they didn't even have plans for him to come in Tuesday. They saw that he was on his bully, thug, dumb stuff, and they said, this mofo's unhinged. He thinks we are MFing joke. Go get them. Get your chinos, get your Letterman, grab your Oakleys or your Aviators. It's ladies' choice. And let's roll on this fool and dog walking him in. And that's what happened. People are saying that the feds never even planned to indict him on Tuesday. They just sped things up because they said, now that we have you on witness intimidation, we have enough to say that you are a danger to the world and we can keep you in jail, right? I will say this. Cassie's case, Little Rod's case, I see all up and down this federal indictment. But who would have thought that it was Dawn Richards' case? And this is what I mean about Diddy being dumb. Diddy, why didn't you just pay Dawn? All she wanted was her copying and royalties. All you had to do was just pay her 5 or 6 million. Why didn't you pay her? Now, just like Cassie, who took away your money, your power, and respect, now you parked like things get shaky, and they parked your son in jail, and you go and stay in jail until trial. And baby, I don't think he's winning this trial. For those of y'all saying, oh, well, he hasn't been convicted yet. Okay, well, you need to look at the Fed's record. The Feds have a 98.7% conviction rate when things go to trial. You really think Diddy is beating the odds with that 1.3%? The way this fool is running around looking kooky, spooky, and all around goofy? You did witness intimidation. You did all this stuff because you wanted to take a dig at Dawn, had your kids up there making digs at her. And now you sitting in jail feeling stupid, trying to find out how much baby oil is in the commissary. And if they don't sell it, why not? It needs to be on the list. Baby oil and lube. Do they sell baby oil and lube in the? I don't even want to know. Anyway, here's what he coerced her to write. I acknowledge the recent lawsuit filed. This is what Kalina wrote, that the Feds are now saying that he did witness intimidation and made her write. I acknowledge the recent lawsuit filed by Dawn Richard, in which my name has been mentioned 33 times. Wait a second, y'all. Something just came into my head. When I was reading this, we're going to get to it in a second. When I was reading this, the one thing I was saying was, this sounds like a lawyer wrote it. I don't think I don't think Kalina has a lawyer. What if Diddy's attorneys wrote this for Kalina? And that's why they were running around looking like, oh. Because don't forget, after Trump, baby, they taking lawyers too if you're helping, aiding, abetting in a criminal conspiracy. Maybe that's why the lawyers were looking like they literally missed the last train of Paris. Hold on, we're going to get into the statement, but let me give a shout out to everyone that's gifted me. It's going to be really quick. 100 to talk trash to me. Anyway, right? Let's get more in there. She said, I acknowledge the recent lawsuit filed by Dawn Richards, in which my name has been mentioned 33 times. While I fully respect Dawn's right to recount her experiences, I want to emphasize that her account reflects her personal perspective and should not be interpreted as a universal truth applicable to everyone involved. Also, Diddy's lawyer just did a press conference, but I'm going to play that for y'all right here. Let me just get through Dawn's thing. Kalina's thing. It's important to understand that while I was present in some of the same professional settings mentioned, many of the allegations and incidents described in the suit are not representative of my experience, and some do not align with my own truth. They're saying Diddy did witness intimidation to get this. I'll say one thing, Dawn, I hope you were watching Homeland Security's investigations. I think it's 1-877-4 HSI TIP, TIP, 1-877-4 HSI TIP. If you dial that and you do it quickly, you might be able to get on the cooperating witness list. Tony and I have always conducted ourselves with the highest level of professionalism and integrity. We were not involved in, nor were we aware of, any behavior that could be considered abusive or unlawful. As this matter is now part of an ongoing legal process, I'll refrain from discussing any specific details further. My focus continues to be on my family, my music, and my work, which I will pursue with the same dedication and positivity that have always guided me. I trust that the legal system will handle this case with the fairness and thoroughness it requires. And
now is finding themselves as a witness in a criminal case. And we're going to fight this case.
Sit down. Listen.
Today, I don't know the answer to that question.
How far the authorities can go before they encroach on your God-given inalienable rights. Bail is not a specific constitutional right, but it is a cornerstone on which that guilty until proven innocence and habeas corpus seizing of the corpse actually relies on. So I say all this to say, Diddy, you did it because, again, the same way you are innocent until proven guilty is the same way that the judge says he will get bail unless you can give me solid evidence to prove that he's not worthy of bail. Do you see? So it was actually stacked in Diddy's favor that he would get bail. But this just shows how much they actually have on him to do this. So listen to what they said. The judge said, that's why the judge pushed back. He wouldn't be a danger, would he, if he only engaged in these behaviors, right, with consenting adults. He wouldn't be in danger if released if he only engaged in consenting adults. Again, the judge is doing what the judge is supposed to do. They're supposed to push back and be like, if there's no reason to hold this man, if he is not a danger to society, we cannot seize his corpse, i.e. habeas corpus, right? You know what the U.S. attorney responded with? We have the hotel video. The judge said, well, he's not going to be a danger if he was released while if only he engaged in these weird, freaky deaky behaviors with consenting adults. The U.S. attorney said, we have the video to show he engaged in this behavior, the hotel video, without consenting adults. Y'all, did Little Rod's lawsuit? By the way, I did an amazing interview with Little Rod. You will laugh, you will cry, and you will learn so much insight, because as much as people wanted to call Little Rod everything but a child of God, and as much as Diddy's legal team tried to clown him, everything he said in that interview and everything he said in that lawsuit came to pass. It came to pass. It came to pass. Go and check out that go ahead and check out that interview or share it with friends. It's under my live. Just put in Tisa Tells Little Rod. You'll see. Okay. And he did interviews like with newspapers. I'm the only person on YouTube that he actually did the interview with, right? Anyway, listen, the U.S. attorney said we have the hotel room. On top of that, the U.S. attorney of Southern District of New York is was very deliberate in saying that there are multiple victims during his press conference. So I don't know why Diddy's lawyer is trying to pretend it is only Cassie. This is getting weird. We also found, Jamie just told me, right, that the lawyer blamed Cassie for this lawyer. Diddy, they didn't want to get you locked up. I don't know if Diddy's telling them to do this or if they are just this misogynistic. Listen to this. Diddy's lawyer blamed Cassie on the hotel video because she was looking in his phone. Diddy's lawyer said this. He alleges Cassie hit him in the head with a cell phone after finding out he had more than one girlfriend. Does a lawyer even follow hip hop? Cassie hit him in the head with a cell phone after finding out he had more than one girlfriend. Who was this other girlfriend? What are you talking about? They said 2 people, and also Cassie never been like the song was Official Girl, not Your Only Girl. He said 2 people were in a hotel room, and the issue that Diddy had more than one girlfriend, okay? Victim 1 was looking through his phone and saw that, then hit him in the head with his cell phone and took his clothing. So he comes out in a towel. Listen, I hope he's not talking about Cassie in that hotel video, because like Jamie said, he forgot to mention he mollywhopped Cassie with that tile on. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, heard, or read in my life. You guys, listen.
Yeah, that's crazy that they said they had a hotel video of unconsenting adults. So that's something new that we don't know about.
Right. That's bad. Like it just
There are a lot of people in Hollywood that are scared right now. Like they are scared because if you have ever been to a Diddy party and you was
that's
there past
exactly
2
that
o'clock.
is exactly big, and it's I think you mentioned it earlier, like we're gonna be shocked because there's just some people, like I keep thinking about the person that I know as Boosie, and then I keep going back to his verse and Wipe Me Down. just left New York City, hooked up with P. Diddy. Like,
Oh yeah, and then people
you
are like,
know,
"Oh,
it
what was you
just
talking about?"
yes, 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 yes. And it just it puts a different spin on things. And I'm like, man, even when Jamie Foxx was talking about, oh, Diddy this and that, and I wanted to record his parties. What? What?
Well, you do know that he's accused of doing something to Justin Bieber. And that was when we saw like a kind of change in Bieber. Like I kind of figured it was puberty. Like, he grew up from a
Right.
boy to a man, but allegedly something happened between Diddy, Usher, and Justin. And because they had Justin, so when Usher was coming up, he went to go stay at Diddy's house as like a mentee type thing when he was only like 14, and he saw a lot of stuff he didn't need to see. And apparently they kind of groomed Justin the same way. Justin was spending time with Usher and Diddy, and there's allegedly something happened to him too. But
Awful.
I don't know much about that. This is Stephen A. Smith talking about
It ain't just P.
Biden
Diddy that's
too.
in trouble with all of this, because he's in a world of trouble. He's in a world of trouble, but that's not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about Hollywood being in a world of trouble. And if you're being honest, I ain't the only one thinking like that. So are y'all. Stephen A. Smith Show in the house, coming right at you right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do at the very least 3 days a week over the digital airways with YouTube. As always, thank you to all of my followers and subscribers. We now eclipse 790,000 subscribers on YouTube, eclipsing more than 2.9 million downloads on iHeartRadio. Can't thank y'all for the love and support enough. Thank you. Keep it coming. I'm going to keep on coming. I want to get right into it. I know I brought up P. Diddy, and I've got to get into that, but there was a Monday Night Football game that came on last night between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Atlanta Falcons. I'll get to more of that a little bit later. Let me just say this real quick about the Monday Night Football game. Eagles blew the game. Saquon Barkley dropped the pass that would have given them a first down. Obviously, they would have been able to run out the clock. He dropped it. They kicked the field goal. It gives the Atlanta Falcons an opportunity to get the ball back down. Because he can't get to a contract agreement with the Jets. So you got a situation in Philadelphia right now where your defense, with him being gone, Reddick being gone, with Fletcher Cox being gone, sex trafficking and racketeering. The federal government has accused Diddy of directing a vast criminal enterprise that he used to assault and traffic women. Here's a section of the indictment that essentially lays out the broad case against Diddy. He's accused of, quote, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, end quote. The indictment also alleges Diddy used force or threats of force to coerce women to engage with male sex workers. The indictment goes on to say those acts, which were called, quote, freak-offs, end quote, sometimes lasted days and were often recorded. Federal prosecutors say various recordings were seized during the raids on Diddy's home in Los Angeles, homes, not one home, homes, plural, in Los Angeles and Miami earlier this year. The government also alleges participants of the quote-unquote freak-offs were often given controlled substances like ketamine and ecstasy to keep victims, quote, obedient and compliant, end quote. Combs will appear in federal court today where he's expected to plead not guilty. Federal prosecutors laid out the case against Diddy during a press conference earlier today in New York City, during which prosecutors He came on and he apologized and he acknowledged that he was in a real bad, effed up place. That's what he said. That's what he said. So you admitted you were messed up. You admitted that your act was egregious. It's the apology. Remember when he gave that quote unquote apologetic video right there? A lot of people weren't buying it because it was shortly removed from him categorically and emphatically denying there was any truth to the allegations that were levied against him. It was only after the video came out that he had to fess up and own up to it. And even then, people didn't believe that his level of contrition was satisfactory. So we all knew this was coming. But when you hear racketeering conspiracy, when you hear sex trafficking by force, when you hear that drugs were used to keep them obedient and compliant, when you hear about the transportation to engage in prostitution, male sex workers, and all of this other stuff, he's in a world of trouble. And I hate to bring up his name, but it is apropos in this particular situation. Remember what Suge Knight said? Y'all remember that? When Suge Knight said he was in a world of trouble? Because Suge Knight said, listen, he knows a lot. And so you're looking at a potential situation where it could arguably mirror that of Jeffrey Epstein. Remember him? August 10th, 2019, prison guards found, I'm reading right from online, guards found American financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein unresponsive in his jail cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City, where he was awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Tried to perform CPR, couldn't resuscitate him, pronounced dead at a downtown hospital at 6:39 a.m. What it went on to say in the reports that there were violations because normal jail procedures on the night of Epstein's death wasn't followed. It talked about a malfunction of 2 cameras in front of his cell. And you got people still to this very day with their conspiracy theories being thrown out there that it wasn't suicide, but ultimately intentional harm was brought to him because he knew too much about too many people. That's what Suge Knight alluded to when he was talking about P. Diddy. And as we sit here today, who the hell can deny that potential reality? Do we know? No. We don't know. But what we do know is that these are federal charges. What we do know is that his attorney has been on the record saying that he flew to New York as recently as a couple of weeks ago because they knew this was coming down the pike. And he wanted to show compliance and that he wasn't running from anything. And he's expected to plead not guilty. And he turned himself in, and months earlier had turned his passports in, and family members had also turned their passports in. But let's lay this out because we need to understand it. We need to gather a level of education in our own brains to edify ourselves to the kind of trouble you can get yourself in sometimes. Him, obviously so. Clearly, you can sit up there and say you're innocent until proven guilty. Nah, that's in the court of law. In the court of public opinion, he's already been found guilty. Can we just be real about that? In a court of public opinion, not law, in a court of public opinion, ain't a damn soul think he's innocent. I'm not denigrating or castigating the brother, whatever. I met him at a Golden State Warriors game. One time I went to a party and it was supposed to be his party. I never saw nothing like that. But without mentioning any names, without incriminating anybody, you see the names? Do you see the people who have befriended him over the years, who have attended his parties, who are considered close to him, who he's been in business with? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? I mean, this has gotten very, very scary. Hollywood's in trouble. Hip-hop and R&B is in trouble. Because the brother's an elite success story, had a lot of friends, had a lot of people vouch, or once upon a time vouch for him, in terms of his brilliance as an artist, a producer rather. Brother knew how to make money. And now here we are. When you're in that position, and you know so much, I got news for you. It's gotten very, very scary. If it were just him, it would be sad. It would be very unfortunate. But I use the word scary because I get the impression, to put it kindly, that his life ain't the only life that's going to be affected. That they ain't after him just to get him. You got Homeland Security involved. You got the feds involved. I got news for you. They ain't coming just for him. They coming for a whole bunch of people. I'll explain in detail even more so what I mean by that statement in a minute. Until then, we got some bills to pay. Don't go anywhere.
That's
I'll be
why
right back. I
the
got some
feds
bills to
was
pay.
like,
Let
they
me
made
show
sure
you what
to
I'm talking
say,
about right now.
"Oh, we're not done. We're not done." Because if they were done, they would have been like, our investigation is complete. We just gonna wait till court and for the
Okay,
trial and all
everybody,
that.
it's that
No,
time
they were
again.
like, "No,
Oh yeah, it's
we're not
time for
done."
Stephen A. Sports Picks, and you can pick and
That
choose on that
it would be
particular.
crazy. How
From
crazy
Andre
would it
Stevenson
be to
to
wake
actors.
up
I'm talking about the music industry.
the next, sometime next
Because
week or so,
anybody that
and
was
Jay-Z is
associated with
arrested?
him
I mean, I'm talking like
are going to be
obviously
considered suspect.
the
I'm not saying any names because I ain't trying to do that to anybody.
worst case
I'm not
scenario.
wishing
But
that on
how crazy
anybody.
would it be to wake up to some
But what I'm saying to you
headline
is
like
that
that?
when you
It would be.
are associated with a figure that is being accused of the multitude of egregious acts that he has been accused of: sex trafficking, racketeering, drug use, prostitution, flying folks across state lines, and all of this other stuff. Yo,
just sick.
I'm glad P. Diddy's got money. They talking about $50 million bond. They talking about his house on Star Island that's worth about $48 million and, putting that up as collateral. They rejected that, by the way. They rejected that. Prosecutors are calling for him to be in jail. They're saying he's a danger to society. You can't leave him out on the streets.
But look at
So the
it
question
the other
now
way
is
too.
he going to get
Like,
bail?
if on the
At least at the
Epstein,
time that we recording this episode.
level, like,
We don't know the
how
answer to
crazy
that
would
yet.
it be to wake up one morning
But I'm
that
telling you right now,
he's all of a sudden passed away?
the
I'm
feds are
telling
coming
you.
your way.
I'm
They're not
telling
coming
you.
just for
Because
you.
he
They're
is
not coming.
involved
I
with
can't
some
wait till
very,
Kevin Frazier,
very
my man for
powerful
entertainment tonight,
people.
comes on the show in a few minutes. I can't wait.
Because
This
Let me tell
isn't
you
I
something.
regular
could
people.
see well,
There's
never
lessons
mind.
to be
I'm not
peeled
gonna
from
say
all of
that.
this. Be careful about the enemies that you crop up.
You can see it being
Be careful about people that
what
have a target on your back.
something bad. I mean, like
The
permanent.
people you've alienated, you've
No, I was gonna
infuriated.
say a certain person
Oh,
Think about the people he's done
as an
business with.
example of
Think
like
about the money
somebody
involved.
big that he could take out
Think about how it would have been in folks' best
or take
interest
down with him.
to shut the hell up and never say anything. Yet somehow, some way, this stuff evidently was going on for years, according to the feds. And almost nobody said anything.
Nobody said anything. I heard
That was before. And then suddenly, when things go bad, there's videotapes.
Yeah. Yeah. That.
There's recordings. There's surveillance cameras. There's electronic equipment. There's a multitude of statements.
what you want to say?
I'm saying it pisses me off because like Cassie's video, that's over 10 years old, right? It's been out there.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but from what I understand, so the video was in 2016, so I guess 2026 will be 10 years. But from what I understand is Diddy paid the hotel $50,000 to get rid of it. And obviously they kept it in a vault somewhere. So he was under the understanding that it didn't exist anymore, but it did. So he paid for them to get rid of it, but obviously somebody held on to a copy of it, and from what I gather, Cassie and her lawyers figured out that there was a copy of it, and that's how they got it. But that's why it's been hid. That's why nobody has seen it in all this time, because Diddy paid for it to go away. But money can only buy silence for so long,
Right.
because 50,000 ain't a lot of money, especially
That's
not
what
this
I'm
day.
thinking. And I'm sitting here thinking, what kind of hotel only would, I mean, stop at 50,000? Like, it must not
Right.
been some big fancy hotel if they could hush
But
for
he could have,
50,000.
but we don't know. It could have just been maybe like,
The
the security
security
guard or
guy.
the,
Hmm.
whatever. So I don't know those details, but I
But
do know he.
I remember when it was the day that they were raiding his homes, and the neighbors were leaving, and they were yelling something out the window to the news people, and
Oh
it was
yeah.
something about, oh yeah, we see a bus or something like that around like 3 o'clock in the morning, and a whole bunch of kids get off of that bus.
Yeah.
If y'all been seeing that going on, what do y'all think is happening? It ain't summer camp. It's not a sleepover. I mean,
Well,
it's just weird.
I heard that, okay, because you don't, in the billionaire circle, think about it. How often do you see Beyonce around Diddy? You don't see Beyonce around Diddy. And so from what I heard was that there was a party in LA, a Diddy party, and Beyonce and Jay-Z were there, and Beyonce witnessed something she shouldn't have, but she witnessed him getting violent, getting physical with another female, and she intervened and stood up for that female. And like you're not finna just beat her ass in front of me, but type shit, you know what I'm saying? And then she demanded her and Jay-Z leave. So I did hear that from a reputable source, that she was also maybe might being interviewed by by the feds as well, because she witnessed him putting his hands on somebody.
Ooh,
So
I don't know how that's going.
now I'm
Because
sure that I'm sure Beyonce and her lawyers are gonna try and do whatever they can for her name not to be involved in anything at all. But I mean, if that is true, and the victim comes forward and says it's true, if they subpoena her, then if they subpoena her to testify, she can't do anything about that. But then that ties into what Stephen A is talking about, is that Diddy knows too much. He knows too much about he knows too much about people who are higher than him,
mm-hmm.
and they are not gonna want to go down with him.
Well, Beyonce should hope. I mean, not really, but she should hope that Jay-Z gets looped into this stuff with Diddy, because then she can't testify
Well,
being
yeah.
his spouse. But I know that's not the way she might want it. But I think he has something to do with it. Some people don't think that. I do. I don't know. Some
Who,
just don't
Jay-Z?
smell right. Some just don't.
Oh yeah.
It just. I
Even
don't
if,
know what it is, but he just.
even not if now, then definitely like before, like
Uh-huh.
back in the day.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and I like Jay-Z used to be like my goat. Like I used to be like a real big Jay-Z fan, but I I'm one of them people. I really be listening to what Kanye be saying. Kanye don't be wrong a lot of the times. It's his
You right.
delivery. His delivery be all off. His delivery
Yes.
is just terrible. But if you just take away the delivery and listen to what he's saying, Kanye be making a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Kanye been done said, like,
He has. He
you
has.
know, he walked away. You know what kind of status a person like Jay-Z has or whatever. And yeah, I heard Jay-Z the problem that got her, Jay-Z the one that got her problem with Kanye and blah blah blah. But Kanye ain't begging, to go back there either. Like,
Right.
I think he was in an interview a couple weeks ago and somebody asked him like, "Yo, what's up with Jay?" or something like that. And then Kanye was like, "Man, Beyonce just need to let him go out and get some pussy or something." Basically kind of saying like Beyonce didn't got him whipped and trained and now he didn't turn into somebody Kanye don't know. And
Oh.
after the whole Lil Wayne thing, I guess I could see that. Because they're saying that Jay-Z is behind Lil Wayne not being picked for a Super Bowl.
Jesus. Ooh. I think, didn't you say that the other day? Or I saw that somewhere on TikTok or something. Somebody saying that.
What about Jay-Z and the
Jay-Z.
Super Bowl?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't get like the full details, but like even Nicki Minaj had like tweeted and kind of went off about it. But and some people were like, what's the big deal? The Super Bowl has been in New Orleans a bunch of times and why is it a big deal now? Last time I leave her man alone. Who, Jay-Z? I mean, if he did it, he did it. I just do know, like I said, I don't like the way people ignore the fact that he didn't start messing with with Beyonce when she was young as hell. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
she
I
was.
just I don't trust nobody who says it's okay for us to be married and live in two different houses. You must be out your mind. Negative. No,
See, I want to
not
see.
going.
I see. No, I agree with that though.
Oh no.
I had said, look, the only way I get married is if my man will like let me have my own place.
I'm so done. I mean, maybe in
At
the
least let
same.
me have my own room.
What about like a she shed or something?
Yeah, we can start there. I guess, okay, so I've lived with two different men, but both of my son's fathers I've lived with. And after my first son's father, I was like, "Man, I don't want to live with another man no more." And then I did it again with my second son father, and I am still of the opinion that it's just not for me. It's just not for me. Like, and I don't know if it's just because I'm a loner or introverted or what, but like he would argue with me because like we were living in his parents' house. They didn't want us smoking in the house. So I would smoke in the back room where I could like smoke out the window and stuff or whatever. And so like he was he was like, you stay in the room too much. And it wasn't that I stay in the room too much. I would come out, we would watch movies and stuff together, but I'm just not the type of girl. I don't need to be up under you all the time. Like, we're at home. I'm down the hall. Like, what do you want? I don't want to watch what you're watching. Like, what do you want? Like, leave me alone. If you need
You
something,
done
I'm
entered
down the
the
hall.
grandma era already.
I'm just saying, if you need something, I'm down the hall. Like, you know where I'm at. Like, what is the big deal? But and like I said, when it was time to come together, we'll come together. But I just don't need to be up under you 24/7. Like,
You
let me
need an
miss you.
extroverted man then.
let me miss you. Like, I can't miss you if you always here. I can't miss you if I'm always in your face. Like, I don't know. I just, like I said, I don't just, if we have talked on the phone all day long and we live together, I need a break. I need a break. At least just give me an hour of me time. That's it. Just give me after I get just give me an hour of me time. But I'm just like I said, I'm just not the type. I don't gotta be up under you
But not
24/7.
in a whole separate house.
But see, I think that's because I don't like being told what to do. And when you're married, you know, you're supposed to like obey your husband or whatever. I don't see that's just not for me. Like that's just not me. I have realized marriage is not for me, and I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. It would have to be for like tax purposes or something. Like it would have to be a good reason.
Done. I'm so done. Not tax purposes.
It would have to be a very good reason of why we're doing this. I don't think that a piece of paper should have to justify the relationship. And a lot of times, and I have seen it happen way too many times, where a relationship is perfect until they get married. Once they get married, the relationship go to shit. And that's a lot of times because people be having problems when they're just dating or when they're just boyfriend and girlfriend, and then they go and get married thinking that's gonna fix it. And that ain't nothing but a band-aid over the problems that y'all already got. And then you say, so you bring all that baggage and all those problems y'all had when y'all was dating, you bring into the marriage, and it's like it's just, you know, you either fighting to hold on to something that's already dead, or or you hanging on for the kids. And I am not a fan of that at
Ooh,
all.
people love that.
I
I'm
am not
like,
a fan
what?
of that at all. I am not about to stay in a relationship where I am not happy because we have kids together. Because don't you think the kids can see that
Exactly.
the kids can hear
Exactly.
y'all fighting and all that stuff? Like, no.
They will sense the toxicity and everything they see. If one of y'all not, if y'all not sleeping together in the same bed, if one's always in the
Right.
room with the kid, like it just, they see all of that,
The
and they gonna
arguing,
think that
like,
that's normal.
yeah, I'm not with that. If you are not happy, the best thing you can do for your kids is leave.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, but I'm like I said, if it happens, it happens. I'm okay.
I'm done. I'm done.
I am okay. I'm good.
But
I
Diddy, this just
I want to, just because I've been looking at it for so long, I want to click on this thumbnail and see what he talking about. Oh, I think he talking about when she.
That needs to be the absolute last time that you don't have enough witnesses to carry us at least until 5. And if it happens again and there is something less than an earthquake, an 8-car pileup, somebody died, 3 people died, and so none of the witnesses were available, I may just
like,
say you
come
can't have that witness
on,
because at this point in this incredible.
And we are back. Thank you all for watching. Go ahead and hit that like button in anticipation of an excellent video today, y'all. I removed all kinds of long gaps and breaks and stuff for you. So go ahead and hit that like button for me, please. This is going to be a very good video, y'all. It's extended, so it is a kind of sit down, get comfortable, and watch. You're going to see a serious back and forth and even a tag team effort. What I noticed watching this video or watching court today, and what you'll notice
I know I
watching this
missed a
video
lot of
is
court today
Brian
watching that
Steele, he's
funeral.
going to tag Shart in. Brian Steele's going to hit a bit of a wall, and he's going to basically tag Shart in, and Shart's going to come in. Y'all remember like wrestling with the tag team? Shart's going to come in energized, and he's just going to take the ball all the way to the hoop, so to speak, to mix my metaphors. What I realize is that Love, she doesn't have anybody she can tag in. She's all by herself out there. So whether you love her or you hate her, she doesn't have anybody she can tag in. So you're going to see what happens today when Brian Steele tags Shart in, and then Brian Steele, he gains his energy and he comes back himself too. So definitely worth the watch. I think at the end of the day, this was embarrassing for Love. She lost today without a doubt, hands down. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Again, we appreciate you watching. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Were you able to hear that? Yes, sir. Okay, and that's fair. That's accurate. Looks true. Yes, sir. Okay. So you were asking Mr. Copeland questions about a gray, potentially rental car Infinity. Is that fair to say? Yes, sir. And this is within 8 hours approximately of the shooting of Mr. Donovan Thomas and the 2 other people, right? Yes, sir. And when you asked him those questions, Mr. Copeland was there because you had information, I believe, that the streets were calling his name about being involved in this crime, right? Yes, sir. So you gave him the opportunity through a conversation you had on the telephone. If he wants, he doesn't have to, but if he wants to come in and talk to you, that's what we're going to talk about, his possible being involved in the shooting, right? Yes, sir. All right. Now, when he told you, no, he didn't know Mr. Maddox, no, there was nothing to do with a gray colored Infinity rental car, you had already, obviously, information that he may have been involved with that car. Is that fair to say?
Girl, you know what car they talking
The car that I
about.
just referred to. Gray rental car Infinity. Yes, sir. Okay. Now, he denied any knowledge or access to that type of vehicle that we just saw in Jeffrey Williams 241D, right? Yes, sir. And you had a reason to believe that he was not being truthful, correct? Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, as to the improper form.
Oh, shit.
Sustained.
You did not, at that point, you had information contrary to his denial, true? Yes, sir. Now, he also at that same interrogation meeting, interview, whatever you want to call it, is fine, with Mr. Copeland.
Somebody in the comments.
You also asked him where he was at and around the time of the shooting. Is that fair to say? Yes, sir. And he told you 2 places of interest. One is a McDonald's, right? Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. This characterizes regarding at or around the time of the shooting.
Tells you about a McDonald's, right? Yes, sir. You're talking about McDonald's. And that McDonald's, the jurors have seen pictures and they've heard the address, but we're talking about on Cleveland Avenue. Fair to say? Yes, sir. And it's near a laundromat. If you're familiar with the area. Yes, sir. Okay. Near the laundromat, near the auto place, and across the street is other establishments, including a gas station convenience store. Fair? Yes, sir. And to your knowledge, at that time, were there cameras, when I say cameras, surveillance cameras, on the laundromat building? I believe so, there was. Were there cameras on the McDonald's? I believe so, yes, sir. Were there cameras on the auto parts store? I believe so, yes, sir. Were there cameras across the street on the convenience store gas station? Yes, sir.
Okay,
Now,
so there were
when you
cameras.
went,
They just
I
didn't.
assume you
wait,
followed up on that alibi, true?
I
Yes,
think
sir.
I've been
When you went to
misunderstood.
But they
those
didn't
establishments,
get
did you go to those establishments?
footage?
Yes,
I
Oh.
object on the basis of assuming facts and evidence. There was no.
Wait, so there were cameras. They just didn't go get them. Because I was under the assumption that there wasn't any cameras at all.
That's what I thought too. But there were cameras, so maybe that people are saying there weren't cameras, but really there were. They just don't have footage.
And so, I mean, well, I'm assuming that's the point that Steele is trying to make, that if you're supposed to be an investigator, why wouldn't you go to all the businesses in the area to get the cameras? But maybe we talking about 2 different crimes. But I thought for sure when they were talking about a McDonald's, it was always said that the McDonald's didn't have. They never got maybe I just misunderstood it this whole time when they said McDonald's didn't have camera footage. Maybe I just misunderstood it. They did have it. The investigators just didn't go get it, which is crazy.
That APD.
The question was regarding an alibi and base. I think it's an improper question.
Did you go to those establishments? Yes, sir. Okay. And did you attempt to locate and ask for, use subpoena power, jurors may not use a search warrant, to get any of those video surveillance cameras if they existed?
I went and checked to see the video footage. So they had video footage that could be of use. Then that's when I'll go and obtain the search warrant to indicate in the search warrant, this is the time frame I'm looking for. But I believe at McDonald's, they already reached their 15-day mark. So the video footage, I think, was already overwritten, I believe.
15 days. It took you to go ask.
You already told the jury that you would take notes and put this all in your reports, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have to do that. You have to document what you're doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes cases are tried. In our case, we're 9 plus years after January 10th, 2015, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the jurors whether you ever put in your report anywhere that you saw the video at the McDonald's or you spoke with somebody?
No, I believe I did not.
Is there a reason you did not put that detail in your report?
No, because I didn't understand any evidence from that, so that's why I didn't document in my report, but I had it in my notes.
Okay. How about your notes then? Did you ever, where are your notes today?
I didn't find my notepad.
And to be fair to the jury, I asked you about your notes previously, fair?
Yes, sir.
And you said the same thing, you can't find it, right?
Yes, sir.
It's gone.
Yes, sir.
You all of a sudden
Now,
can't find his notepad.
How about you mentioned McDonald's, how about the auto parts store? That video surveillance. Can you tell the jurors what you did to secure that
He
surveillance on
said
January 10th,
2.5 years
2015?
to
The relevant
find
period
it.
time.
Because
Sometimes I believe I went out there
the whole time that
maybe
this has
a
been
couple of days later.
going
to
on since
look,
they got arrested to
because I
locate.
focused on the McDonald's since that was he was talking about, and I did not obtain any video from them either.
What did that person tell you? If you remember.
Objection as to hearsay.
Sustained.
Let me ask you this way.
She
In your
killed me
report,
on it
did you
like a
put
drunk.
anything about going to the auto parts store to inquire about their surveillance?
No, sir.
Okay. And it would be in your notes?
Yes, sir.
Notes are gone?
Yes, sir.
Can't find.
Can't find.
Okay. Across the street, the convenience store, gas station, their surveillance equipment. Did you go there and ask them for theirs?
I believe I went and asked them for theirs.
You did not?
I believe I did not.
Okay. And how about the laundromat across the street from the McDonald's?
I don't think their system was working at that time.
What? Okay,
you
remember
ever
what
spoke
he
with-
said that the
No,
detective
no,
thought
no,
was
the
a
same
bird
questions, it's
brain
not in
or
your report,
a
correct?
squirrel
Correct.
brain or something like that?
You mentioned the green store. Do you know the true name of the green store by any chance?
No, sir, no, okay.
Okay, that's fine.
What he said,
it's
the
called the green
technical
store for
is
the
a
obvious
squirrel
reason that it
brain.
was
You
green.
can tell him
Yes, sir.
anything. And his
And how
police
far, if you
brain-
know, if you don't know, just say, I'm
Yes.
not familiar. Would you say the green store is from the location, God forbid, that Donovan Thomas was shot?
I want to say maybe a couple of blocks.
We're talking close, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, Mr. Copeland told you that on January 10th, 2015, when I say told you, I'm still sticking to January, the next day or 8 hours later. He told you also that he was at around the green store at around the time of Mr. Thomas being shot. Fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And are you aware, did you find out, did you look for it, whether the green store had surveillance cameras?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did the green store have surveillance cameras?
I believe their system was down also.
Okay. And who did you speak with?
I can't recall the person's name.
And did you put it's not in your report, fair to say?
No, sir.
And the notes are gone.
Yes, sir.
Now, surveillance footage is a good tool. Would you agree with that for
Yes,
law
sir.
enforcement?
Yes, sir.
Because a surveillance camera, if it's properly working, no one tampered with it, it doesn't really have any motivation or agenda. Is that fair?
I mean, she has to know that she looks bad in front of the jury, objecting to everything.
True.
And it just captures, if it's working properly, the images that it has in front of it, right?
I mean, I'm sure
So
that's
we
some
wouldn't
stuff
really
the
have
defense
to
could object
debate
to, but they just choose,
whether
they
Mr. Copeland or others
choose
were at a
their battle.
McDonald's if we had that surveillance.
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Now, with regards to Mr. Copeland, when he told you he made the denial of the infinity, remember what we just played? At that point in time, that got you, I assume, so you tell us, that got you interested in maybe he's not being forthright. Is that fair?
Objection, Your Honor, as to improper questions regarding.
Sustained.
You questioned whether he was being truthful with you. Is that fair to
Objection
say?
still, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Did you have questions on his answers that he denied the infinity?
Objection,
Bless you.
vague. Bless you.
I'm sorry.
I said objection vague. The question was, did you have questions?
Questions on his. Sustained.
How did you take it?
I'm
when Mr.
telling
Copeland
you.
said, no, I don't have anything to do and no memory of the infinity.
Objection, Your Honor, vague.
Overruled on that basis.
Okay, how did I take it?
And relevance, Your Honor.
Sustained.
All right. Let me ask you about
Like, it's like a game show, a tennis match,
Williams,
ping
okay?
pong.
You found out that Jeffrey Williams rented a Corvette vehicle from Hertz rental car at the airport. Fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And when I say rented, on or about January 6, 6, 2015, something like that. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
If my day's wrong, I'm not trying to.
I think they should have let Adams have
And
him.
then the Infinity on
I
January,
mean,
on around
Steele's
January
not doing a
7th,
bad job. I just think Adams should have
2015. Fair to
destroyed
say.
him.
Did I find out if he rented January?
You found out later. This Williams in his name. I think that's a proper question.
Rephrase the question.
I'm going to have to move on to another topic. Let me ask you about,
Do you have an approach for that?
sure.
Yeah, because all he had to say is, do you know if Jeffrey drove the vehicle at all?
Yes, Miss Steele.
Thank you.
All right.
Same here, sir.
Ms. Short, you're standing up. You have questions? Well, I mean, you're up and nobody else is, so I guess you can take your turn now and then we'll see whether anybody else has questions.
Investigator Thorpe, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
All right, my name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell, okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a copy of your report in front of you?
No, sir.
I don't, oh, if Mr. Shard has one, I have one that he can use. I believe it doesn't matter.
And Your Honor, may I
You
just
got homework to do.
approach and bring it up, and I'm not asking Detective Thorpe to refer to it at all right now. I just want him to have it handy in case he needs it.
In the event, sure.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Detective
That's about to
Thorpe,
go
I'm going
again.
to ask you about October 19th of 2015.
Okay.
Okay. And that is the day for reference. Do you know what happened on that day off the top of your head?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That was the day that you spoke to the person who identified himself as Nicholas Robinson, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I'd like to talk to you about how that happened. Zone 1 Day Watch contacted you about having a person in custody, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were informed by your fellow officers that this person was named Nicholas Robinson.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Who is
And that's
Nicholas
the way, to your
Robinson?
understanding, this person identified himself to the police.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, this Nicholas Robinson, he was in custody, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He had, on that day, on October 19, 2015, he had been arrested for a felony offense of theft by receiving, correct?
Yes, sir.
Objection, Your Honor, is to, never mind, withdraw the objection, right?
And he was also had probation warrants.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Nicholas Robinson was on his way to Rice Street.
Yes, sir.
For those,
Asked and answered.
Overruled.
is that your testimony? You don't believe he was trying to curry favor and get help with his pending charges?
Yeah, he may have, but that was not up to me.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Prior to October 19, 2015, prior to the date he had been arrested, had Nicholas Robinson ever come up to you and tried to give you information?
No, sir.
Okay. You decided to conduct a formal interview with this person who to you was known as Nicholas Robinson.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what was he wearing at that time of the formal interview? Was he in Rice Street Blues yet?
Relevance.
Sustained.
Okay. During the course of your interview with Nicholas Robinson, he continued to refer to himself as Nicholas Robinson, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I
And you
missed
referred
all
to
of
him
this.
as Nicholas Robinson because you believe that was his identity, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he never corrected you.
Yes, sir.
And you all, without getting into what was said, you all spoke about the shooting of Donovan Thomas.
Yes, sir.
After this interview on October 19, 2015, investigator Gaither informed you that this man's name was not, in fact, Nicholas Robinson, correct?
Yes, sir, but it was not after the interview. It was during the interview.
Okay, during the interview.
Yes, sir.
Investigator Gaither informed you that this man was not in fact Nicholas Robinson.
Correct.
And his name was
You don't have to
30
watch
years
this
and
with
9
me.
months.
I need to catch up on what I missed today anyway. But
Okay.
but yeah, I had just saw that on the thumbnail over there and I was like, let me watch this. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get on off here. But we'll see what else comes out about the diddler over the
Yes.
next few days. I know it's gonna be some more that come out.
Yes, definitely. Especially since we got 3 more days of the week.
Yeah. All right. Well, y'all have a good night. Be safe, and Lord willing, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
See y'all. Have a good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.